listeners to Charm Chats.
Here we are. Welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra
and Kat. I saw you trying to do a cold open.
I think I was trying to go with something thematic to the episode, and I just couldn't figure it out.
That's okay.
It's my life.
That's all right. So we are on episode 505, Witches in Tights.
This is supposed to be a play on Men in Tights.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah, I don't see it. Like, the Wikia says that it's supposed to be a play on the Robin Hood movie.
It's just
Men in
awkward.
Tights, but it isn't. I don't think it is.
No,
it's
no.
just a play on the fact that they're going to be wearing tights. And they're not even wearing tights.
Correct.
None of them end up in tights.
Not even the guy they say is wearing tights.
I mean, technically at the end...
Oh, at the end, yeah.
We
but
kind of see
pants.
that it's a possibility that they're tights.
If anything,
but
they're leggings.
Not tights. They're spandex.
They're leggings.
Anyway, that's also
I mean, it doesn't rhyme, and it's not the same amount of syllables, so it's not a good play on words.
Yeah, not so much. This episode aired October 13th, 2002.
Too bad that wasn't a Friday.
Yep. I just think it's interesting that this was where they decided to go, because they'll have another episode before Halloween. I think the next one airs on the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one airs November 3rd, I want to say.
Yeah.
It's like, because there's a mention about something about Halloween in this episode. I think when
what is this, Halloween? Yeah.
And it's just like, it would have been funnier had it been closer to Halloween.
Nah, fair.
You know.
We don't really get a Halloween episode this season, though.
I don't think we do. I literally did not remember this episode.
I vaguely remembered it. Like, but I definitely forgot a few key players.
Like, I had seen gift sets of, the girls. None of it looked familiar at all. And I'm like, when did this happen? And then I started watching and I was like, oh, right now. Okay.
Yep. Was
not expecting it. Fun fact, this is the 8th episode with the word witch in the title.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. 5 seasons in, we have 8 episodes with the word witch.
Which is interesting.
There you go.
Anyway, we start off with some dramatic helicopter shots over the city. We get a quick glimpse of the Transamerica Pyramid and Coit Tower before landing on a record player turntable.
Now, did you know that they've only been called record players since the 1940s? I didn't know that. Before that, they were gramophones.
Oh, I did know that.
And before that, they started out as phonographs.
Yep.
Now, the phonograph was invented in 1877 by Thomas Edison. But I'm not going to tangent on
originally
Edison.
wax cylinders.
Yes. I'm not going to tangent on Edison because that will become a tangent on light bulbs, and I just don't have the energy for that.
Mm-hmm.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah.
Instead, I will, of course, link to it all on the website. You can feel free to go down the same rabbit hole I went down.
Would it help if we alternated?
Possibly. Yes. I will link to everything on the website, so you can feel free to go down the same rabbit hole that I fell into for quite a while.
Speaking of rabbits.
Hi, Blue.
Hi.
How you doing? We see a female DJ and a dancer next to her, and we are in a club, but it is not P3.
It is, in fact, very small.
It is a very small club. We pan back to see a bunch of other people dancing, and there is a continuity error that you would only notice if you happen to pause at the perfect time or you're looking for it. But it's a small spoiler for the rest of the scene, so I'll explain it in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Piper walks through the crowd, catches Leo dancing. Leo is in a black shirt tucked into black pants, and I think this is the first time that he has been in all black, and it's weird because all black is a go-to look for the bad guys.
Yeah.
And so it's weird to see Leo in all black.
It's funny, but he doesn't look evil because of the way he's dancing.
I mean, he doesn't look evil because it's Leo.
Well, also because of the way he's dancing.
Well, I mean, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Piper is in black pants and a purple top. It's darker in the front than in the back. It's slightly lacy and a little sheer, as we can see a black bra peeking through the fabric. And it also had these, like, weird sleeve flaps, like someone took a cap sleeve and cut it down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what those are called. Like, wing sleeves. I don't know. It was weird. Little flappy things. Her hair is mostly down with just one little bit pulled back in the center.
She asks Leo what he's doing, as they're apparently at the club for business, not pleasure, and he mentions, oh, the DJ's really good. Piper is like, yeah, too bad she's not at P3 being good. I want to know how this club became the hottest thing in town.
Leo, of course, reminds her that P3 is still doing great. She says it's not as great as it used to be. And Leo says that, her priorities have changed since getting pregnant. And she tells him that women can have careers and babies. It's been in all the papers. Which I laughed so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the lines in this show are just gold.
Yeah.
And they're delivered so well.
This and Billy, it's the 21st century. The women do.
Yeah, the women can do the saving.
The women can do the saving now.
Yeah.
Those kinds of lines I just love.
Yeah.
Leo asks if those women are trying to save the world from demons, and Piper spots two people making out on a couch. So she tells them to get a room. They stop kissing, and it turns out to be Paige and a guy named Dave.
Now, this actor is Craig Robert Young. He was credited as Craig Young in this episode. He was born October 4th, 1976 in Nottingham, England.
Yep.
And he has 70 acting credits so far, starting back in 1999. Now, it's very funny to me because, like, he'll randomly... I didn't think he was British at all. And then
I heard it at first.
But, until he said the word mate. And I was like, wait, is he trying to be Australian? I was very confused. Because, his accent is not strong.
Yeah.
It is a very watered down accent. So
it's not so much watered down as it is just casual.
Yeah. It's definitely not.
He's not Cockney. He's not the Queen.
It is not a recognizable British accent. It's a pretty
generic.
It is not a stereotypical British accent.
What is stereotypical when we're talking about British? It's not, super poncy. It's not super, low class. It's just pretty generic middle of the road, which I guess is Nottingham.
Sure.
I mean, how else is the sheriff going to tax everyone if no one passes through? It's in the middle of the road. Anyway, Paige is in a really cute blue and white striped dress. It's got these white straps, little blue bow at the front, and a white ruffle on the bottom hem. It's kind of not kind of mermaidy, sort of. I don't know. It's like a sort of a pencil skirt shape.
Yeah,
and then it
very
flares out a little bit.
Yeah, it's very, very tailored.
Honestly,
nicely.
If not for the fact that it's completely opaque, it would look like lingerie.
Uh-huh.
And it's very good on her.
Yeah, it's perfectly tailored to her body, and A+.
Oh yeah.
A+ to the costuming department.
Well, D+. Double D+.
Yes. She has her hair down. Dave is in a blue button-down, jeans, and a black leather jacket.
Piper asks Paige why she's there. Paige says she's just hanging out. Piper's like, you couldn't do that at P3? And Dave's like, oh, we didn't want to miss the DJ. So Paige smacks him on the chest and then introduces him. Yeah. Leo and Dave shake hands. Piper's like, so, Dave.
Dave's a thing? Paige says that they've only been hanging out for 3 weeks. Piper's like, 3 weeks? Because apparently nobody has told her a damn thing. And then Phoebe comes up to Paige and hands her a drink. Phoebe is in a 2-piece red outfit. It's a crop top with slinky beaded straps that connect to a neck piece and a skirt. And we aren't really shown much of it. Mm-hmm. Her hair is pulled into an updo with some tendrils falling out. I like her hair.
Yeah, she wore this in some of the
promotional
the promotional shoots, the promo shoots.
Yeah, this is.
I remember this from some of that.
Yeah, it's an interesting outfit to say the least, and I think it's very interesting.
It is very Phoebe
that she's in this for all of one scene, and it's a promo picture outfit.
Mostly the promo picture outfits, they're only in for one scene. Yeah. I remember the season 1 ones were all from that episode, or at least Piper's and Phoebe's, were both from the episode where they did the love spell. And then, like, had to deal with the consequences of that. I forget what Prue was doing during that.
I don't know.
Was that the one where she had, like, the dream thing going on, or no?
I don't remember.
I forget.
Anyway, about that continuity error that I mentioned. The wide shot at the very beginning of the scene where it pulled out from the DJ.
To show a surprisingly small area.
Yeah.
Where the bar is literally 5 feet in length.
Yeah. The issue here is that this pullout happens and then we immediately go to Piper finding Leo on the dance floor. However, the wide shot shows Piper and Leo down in the bottom corner talking to Paige and Dave and Phoebe at the bar.
Yep.
Because somebody didn't think of the proper timing of how they were going to put this in there. Just saying.
Anyway, Phoebe kind of stutters for a moment upon seeing Piper, surprised at how late she's up, and Leo offers to buy Dave a drink, and Dave cluelessly says, "But I've got one." And Leo's like, "Yeah, that's not going to be enough." And so drags him off. Piper says she thought Phoebe was working. Phoebe says she is, mumbles something about guys helping her with advice to other guys, and then points at a dude with dimples and says he's been a huge help.
Piper isn't sure which to be more bugged by. The fact that they're at this club instead of P3, and this club never gets a name, or the fact that they're at this club without her. Paige says that they didn't think the noise or the people would be good for the baby.
Piper says, "Well, it's good for the mommy to get out sometimes."
Paige is like, "So you would have wanted to come?" And Piper replies,
No,
but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
To which, Paige calls her a confusing woman, and I feel for Piper in this moment, because it's just nice to be invited sometimes.
Right.
Yes, I am aware that I am probably never going to go to see any concert that you're in, but I love that you invite me to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because then at least I know that they're happening.
Yes.
And I go, well, maybe if I get up the energy, I will go see you, because I'd love to see you perform. I just don't have the energy to do it.
That's fair.
It
is all the way downtown.
Exactly.
Well, not all the way downtown, but it's like...
But it's far enough
downtown.
away. Yeah.
But it's in the city.
Yeah.
While there is free parking, you do have to hunt for it a bit.
Yeah. It's like, but I enjoy that you still invite me. Mm-hmm. Because one of these days I might actually take you up on it.
Yep.
And then we'll all be confused.
Right?
Anyway, Piper says that it's not a big deal. She'll see them at home, and she turns and walks away. And Phoebe starts to go after her, but stops as Paige wonders if this is still a good idea. And I'm assuming that she's talking about being at the club still being a good idea. But
Phoebe says that Piper won't slow down until someone slows her down, and that she doesn't want to do anything else to add to her stress.
Which makes me realize that Paige is talking about, should we really not be including Piper in things?
Yeah.
Because that's a thing.
That is the theme of the day.
Yeah.
We cut outside to a building as a very recognizable gentleman walks around wearing all black.
Yes.
And hey, it's Mark Shepard.
Indeed. Mark Shepard was credited as Mark A. Shepard. His middle name is Andreas. He was born May 30th, 1964 in London, England.
He has been in so many nerdy
fandom things.
IP. He's been in Firefly, 24, Battlestar Galactica, the remake, Dollhouse, Doctor Who, Leverage, White Collar, Warehouse 13, and Supernatural. And
Just
also,
to name a few.
And also he was one of the BBC announcer voices for a really long time.
Yeah, I think he might still be, actually.
He might still be.
But he only has 63 acting credits, starting back in 92.
Well, granted, his dad is also a pretty well-established British actor who just hasn't been in a lot of extremely recognizable stuff, although they did play the same person in an episode of Doctor Who.
They have played the same character
several times.
Several times.
Yes, but that's the only one I can think of right now, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And fun fact, his appearance on Firefly happened just after this appearance in Sunshine. Literally.
I was wondering, because I'm like, this looks about the same time. I didn't check the dates.
Yeah. This episode aired October 13th, and his Firefly episodes aired November 1st and December 20th.
And now, I will say about Mark Sheppard, this isn't really a spoiler for what happens next, but when he started to talk,
yeah,
I was like, I didn't notice it first. But then he says more words, and I'm just like, wait, what's happening? Because Mark Sheppard is
very, very British.
Is well, it's not just that he's British. It's not just that he's British. It's that his natural accent trends a little bit central London, like kind of like with just a gauche of Cockneyish, sort of like flavor thrown in there.
And 90% of the time, he is allowed to be British.
Yes.
Apparently not this episode.
I didn't realize that he was doing an American accent in this episode, and he wasn't quite as good at it here. It turned out kind of being Irish and Bostonian at the same time. It was very interesting. Now, on his episodes of Doctor Who, it was fine. It was perfect. It sounded American. Maybe if I heard it again, I would like pick up some things. But at the time, and this was a couple of years later, it sounded, pretty American. And he's playing someone who's like in the Secret Service, and he's like talking to whoever's playing fucking Nixon or whatever. And it sounded like stylized, but consistent. This is not consistent. No. And I'm like, who vocal coached him on this?
Yeah.
Why did he need to not be British? We've had British villains in this before. Right? We've also had villains who talked like they were from the 40s, which is actually how people talked back then. It's not made up.
Yeah. I honestly don't understand why they didn't let him have his normal voice, but I don't understand why they ever make somebody not have their normal voice.
I mean, yeah, that was a huge issue with with David Tennant in a lot that he's been in, where they're like, okay, well, don't be so Scottish. Be English. And so he does. Although I was very happy to watch his Much Ado About Nothing, where he just got to be, like, super Scottish. It was fun.
Yes. Anyway, Mark's wiki page gives very little about his personal life, only mentioning that his father is W. Morgan Sheppard, who we will, spoilers, see in season 5.
In 10 episodes.
Yes. I will talk about him when we get there.
I know he's got a couple of kids. I remember that from, like, Supernatural stuff.
Yeah, but, like, no, it literally doesn't tell
He's very good at leading a very private life.
Yeah, and I, for one, applaud him in that. Mm-hmm. It makes me very, very happy that, like, there are people out there that can be in the spotlight and be that famous and still have a personal life that's private. And I think it's partly because he's British that people respect it.
They have stricter laws about paparazzi in Britain. And I know it's partially to, like, protect actors and partially, like, protect the royal family, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're such public-facing figures.
Yeah.
And
I know a lot of laws got changed after Diana.
Yes, that too.
Like, a lot of laws. So, yeah.
And I know Meghan and Harry are currently going through a thing about that. I don't recall specifically what was going on, but, like, basically, tabloids.
Yeah.
And shit. And so they're working on possibly revising some protocols or whatever, dealing with the media. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway.
Basically, there's a problem when people pay for photos that the people who go to extreme lengths to get said photos are rewarded for their, some would call it gumption, I'ma call it invasive maneuvering.
Yeah, well, because I know that there was a thing with, I think it was French paparazzi a couple years back with William and Catherine.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were literally using a telephoto lens.
No, that was
to take pictures of her
topless.
Okay,
that's what I'm remembering, because Taylor Swift was talking about that, where she and her friends were out on a boat in the middle of fucking nowhere in the
Yeah.
ocean and realizing way far away, oh fuck, there's a paparazzo over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's this guy that's been like fucking following her around. So she's like, oh, you know, he wants the exclusive thing. Great. We're going to take selfies and we're going to post them on the internet and he can't get money because we've already done it.
Yeah.
And we'll have better photos.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah. But there was a whole thing where there was some French paparazzo who was taking telephoto lens pictures of Catherine topless while they were on vacation.
Yeah.
And selling them to tabloid papers, and it was a whole big thing of like they were literally on private property.
Yeah.
And the only reason the pictures were able to be taken is because he was using a telephoto lens on like a hill someplace.
Yeah.
And so that's when it was just like, okay, we need to shut this shit down because that's not right.
Yeah.
Like, they should have some modicum of privacy, especially when they're on private property.
Correct.
You know. Anyway, back to the show. We get a boy sitting on a stoop in an alley, drawing into a notepad. He's wearing shades of blue. We're going to learn his name is Kevin.
He's got a lovely period era haircut.
Yeah, it's really...
It's not
exactly
Bieber,
a bowl cut.
and it's not a Bieber,
Yeah.
but it's like he's got bangs, and it's also long in the back.
Yeah.
Kind of works for him. Except he kind of needs to wash it.
Well, there is that.
But he's also a teenage boy.
Yes.
So he probably washed it that morning.
Sure. Kevin is played by Andrew James Allen. He was born July 16th, 1987 in Redmond, Washington. He's got 46 acting credits so far, starting back in 2001. This was his third gig. And he's mostly done single episodes of TV shows and TV movies.
We learn that Mark's character is named Arnon, and he asks Kevin why he's outside. And this is where we go,
What is
what
this
the fuck
accent?
is... Yeah. Huh?
It was
Mark?
It was
What's
such
up?
a weird accent.
That's when we marked his accent.
There you go.
Kevin says that Arnon startled him and the door is locked, so he's practicing drawing while he waits, but he can't seem to, quote-unquote, make it work, even though he's tried to focus and do everything Arnon has told him to do.
Arnon, being the demon that he is, says he's not trying hard enough, and tells Kevin that he's got a very special gift and he needs to fully believe in it to master it.
He looks at a drawing of a tiger, which is quite good, telling him to make it real in his mind's eye, make it come to life. So Kevin puts down a few more pencil marks, which which apparently completes it, and stares at it. And then the tiger fucking appears in the alley nearby.
Yeah.
And Kevin is so excited that it works as the tiger, like, growls, and he starts freaking out and asking how to make it go away. So Arnon rips the page out of his sketchbook and tears it in half, like, down the center. Mm-hmm. And the tiger, like, phases out.
Yes, he disappears. Arnon tells Kevin to make the hero that he's drawn real, to take care of his little problem, and then take care of Arnon's little problem. Mm-hmm. And we go to the opening credits.
Again, no Daryl this episode.
Yeah,
sadly.
Sad.
We do get some helicopter night shots of the city before we see Kevin, same clothes as before, coming around a corner in the same alley that he was in during the opening scene. Like, they didn't even change alleys.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to be earlier that night, later that night.
I think it's later.
But, like, it's a little confusing. Like, where did
it's
he
the same
go?
alley, yeah.
Because it's the same alley and the same outfit. So it's not even like it's the next night. Mm-hmm. Unless he wears the same clothes.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway, there's a guy standing in front of a car wearing very baggy clothing who we will learn is named Kaz, which, fun fact, was the name of my kindergarten boyfriend.
Well, alrighty then.
He went to Catholic school and liked to roll his socks up and down.
Okay.
What?
Sure. Kaz is played by Ernie Reyes Jr. He was born January 15th, 1972 in San Jose, California. He has 39 acting credits so far, starting back in 1985, and he played Johnny in the 1993 movie Surf Ninjas for anyone who remembers that Rob Schneider and Leslie Nielsen Insanity that also apparently had Tone Loc in it. And for anyone...
Is that not Tone Loc?
No, it is Tone Loc.
Okay.
Tone Loc sang the song Funky Cold Medina.
Oh.
Yeah. Tone Loc. Let me tell you, craziness.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for that, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it is such a weird freaking movie.
It is. I will say,
it is billed
Rob
as
Schneider and Leslie Nielsen, like, really, like, they're very good at committing to whatever the bit of the movie is. So they are perfect to play something this off of the wall. But this is also about ninjas who surf.
It is a combination.
Princes.
It is a combination that in the trailer it says it is a combination of 3 ninjas and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I went, no, you are wrong.
No, it is 3 ninjas, Johnny Tsunami,
Yes,
and Pink Panther.
yes,
Like,
it is
actually, Austin Powers.
Yeah, I was like, not Pink Panther. That's still
Austin
too
Powers,
good. Yeah,
I feel
Austin
like.
Powers is a little better. Yeah, but it is insanity, just absolute insanity.
Spaceballs. A little bit.
No, because even Spaceballs is a little more coherent.
Yes, but I'm saying the ridiculous villain who wears ridiculous outfits.
Because Leslie Nielsen is the villain in that movie.
Yes.
So weird.
And he's wearing like half a metal. Wait, no, not either Austin Powers or Spaceballs. Red Dwarf. Have you never seen Red Dwarf?
I loved Red Dwarf.
Okay.
Who are you thinking in Red Dwarf?
I'm just thinking like the angular of the mask. And, like, the weirdness of all of this.
Creighton was not a bad guy, so I don't know where you're going with that.
I know that. But, like, the angularity of the mask makes me think of him.
Sure. I don't see it, but all right. Though I do think it's hilarious that you're like, have you never seen Red Dwarf? I'm sorry.
I couldn't tell based on your reaction.
I'm sorry. I have a signed pot noodle by Craig Charles.
That's fascinating.
Yes.
We'll unpack that later.
Yeah. It is curry scent. It is a curry flavor. It is literally inside a plastic bag, inside another plastic bag, inside a third plastic bag, and hidden in a picnic basket on my table.
And
because
yet somehow it is
so
still
scented.
losing mass, just like the kilogram.
Probably. But it was so...
Although now the
so
kilogram
smelly.
is a math concept, so it's not going to lose any weight.
So smelly with the curry scent.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to put it into multiple bags
Why
just to make the smell
a
not
pot noodle?
Because Red Dwarf.
Okay, but why?
Because he's... Have you not seen Red Dwarf?
Am I not remembering something? I watched it in college.
Because there's the joke of he always enjoys a good curry, like he always loves the curry. And then there was a scene in the show where he had to choose between something disgusting and horrible or a pot noodle, and he chose the disgusting and horrible. Because why would anyone eat a pot noodle? So it's just fucking funny.
Okay, so it was a single thing that I apparently forgot about.
Probably. Maybe when this Charmed thing is over, we'll do a Red Dwarf
We don't need to.
podcast. Maybe I'll do one. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Anyway, Ernie Reyes Jr. was also, back in 1985, Prince Tarn in the movie Red Sonja. For anyone who remembers that one, that had Brigitte Nielsen and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
With a mullet.
And
sort of.
That was also insanity, and it is comical at how bad the CG in that movie is. But it was so good for 85.
Is it good bad or bad bad?
It's good bad.
Okay.
But it's like, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Conan the Barbarian time, and it's just...
Yep.
Like using his actual voice. But like Brigitte Nielsen is one of those people who, she was so pretty. So pretty. And then she decided to try to stay pretty with plastic surgery, and it didn't work. And it makes me sad. And then she went a little cuckoo crazy pants. And she was...
Hollywood.
Well, and she was on that reality show where she was trying to date Flava Flav, and they got into a whole
She was on
relationship.
Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There was a whole thing.
Flashback.
Yeah. That was a whole thing.
I still think about that show often.
Yeah.
Isn't that where we got Tila Tequila?
Probably.
And New York?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Kaz asks why Kevin is there. Kevin says he's just trying to get home.
Kaz pushes him. Big, beefy dude behind him
Has no credit on IMDb. Can tell you nothing about him.
shows up. And Kaz is like, hey, this is where I do my business. I don't like being bothered. And then Kevin, like, looks at the dude behind him who pushes him to turn him around. And Kaz is like, it's going to cost you. And grabs Kevin's bag. And he pulls out the sketchbook. And the first thing he finds is a drawing that, now, it definitely looks like what he says. But also, it's funny that he jumped to that conclusion immediately. Because it's Kevin kicking him in the face.
Yeah.
Like, jump fucking kicking, Mortal Kombat, kicking him in the face.
Yeah.
Which is great.
He then smacks Kevin across the face.
With
Kevin
the back
falls-
of his hand.
Yep. Kevin falls to the ground. Kaz throws the book at him, saying, catch you next time. And then Kaz and the big guy walk away. Kevin touches his mouth, where he seems to be bleeding from the smack. And then he smiles. And we pan down to the open book, where we see a drawing of a superhero man with a mask.
And then the pages of the book start to flip and make like a little animation.
Yeah, like flipbook style.
Mm-hmm. Of the superhero dude walking and then standing with his hands, classic Superman pose on his hips.
Yep.
Muscles glaring with a weird stylized A on like that goes up in between his pecs.
Yeah, it's a really weirdly stylized A, and I immediately went, adultery man!
But it's not red.
It's not. But that was my first thought. Because whenever you think of an A on a shirt, like, I immediately go to the scarlet letter.
I go to abdominals. Because that's where that tattoo was.
Yeah.
Sorry, that letter, not that tattoo.
Yes. We then get a really quick cut shot past the city at night with some, like, comic book music over top. Like, you know how like in comic book TV shows they'll show like the spinning newspaper and you hear that like that's the kind of music that was playing.
Yeah.
We then immediately are inside what looks to be an office.
And looks kind of like Paige's old work.
I mean,
a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, it might be a set redress.
Yeah, it had that kind of aesthetic, just like without all of the personalized cubicles.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kaz and the big guy are both there. Place is trashed. I see a rainbow flag on the back wall.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. It's more visible, but in a second.
I don't think it was a rainbow.
Pretty fucking sure.
I don't think.
Do we want to pause? Yeah. Okay. So we went back and looked. There is definitely some kind of artwork that is rainbowy. It's on the back wall.
It is a rainbow artwork. It is not the rainbow flag. It is the rainbow colors.
I meant to actually go back and like re-look at that.
Yeah.
I only caught a glimpse of it and I was like, is that a rainbow flag? And then I got distracted by the next scene. I forgot to go look.
Yeah. But we did a quick look-see, and it is the rainbow colors, just not in the rainbow flag order.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand where your brain was like, rainbow!
Yeah.
I totally get it. Anyway, so
the dude picks up a small filing cabinet, clearly empty, and chucks it to the other side of the room.
Where we hear it kind of hit the floor, but not really make it nearly as loud of a sound as it should have.
And then Kaz picks up a big bag of stuff, says it's time to go. There's a whooshing sound, and then like a crunch, the sound of debris falling.
Yeah.
And we turn around, we stop when they see a man with
weirdly spiky hair.
Like in sync spiky.
But like bad in sync.
Okay,
cosplay.
so 98 degrees spiky.
There you go. Yes, it was weirdly spiky.
No
hair.
offense to Nick Lachey or whoever else he was working with.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't remember the names of anyone else in that band.
Neither do I.
Anyway.
No, everyone was in sync or Backstreet Boys. Actually, this might be Backstreet Boys spiky.
No,
like I'm talking their promotional material.
No.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Oh, wait, what was the post I saw? That all of the promotional material for NSYNC makes them look like it's Guy Fieri's 5 sons.
Interesting. Anyway, weird spiky haired dude is covered neck to toe
in black leather,
with
a large purple A on his chest, again coming up between the pecs.
And he has
a Batman mask.
Yeah, he has a black mask across his eyes that is vaguely Batman-esque. Mm-hmm. It's not Batman because it's got a few more dips and
but it was clearly
scallops in it. But it was
a bat-stiche.
Yes. But it is just across his eyes. And he is standing in a newly formed hole in the wall. And we see some sparks from behind the superhero man.
He apparently crashed through some electrical wiring.
Yeah. And there's a brick wall behind him. Which, I don't know why, but I think that's just funny.
Yeah.
Just the image of this brick wall behind. I'm like, okay, sure. Kaz asks if it's Halloween, which is where the joke there came from. He asks who the guy is, and the superhero man calls himself the aggressor.
And he does it with this, like, snarl that's just, like, a little too over the top. Like, okay, does anyone remember, oh shit, I'm forgetting what this, it was like 1998 Phantom? Or it was like a comic book movie, but it was like before comic book movies came back.
Okay.
It's like the Phantom.
Yeah.
It had the
with
dude
Billy
from
Zane?
Titanic. Yes, Billy Zane. Yeah.
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 Like...
The Phantom. Not to be confused with Phantoms, which was a bomb movie.
Oh my god.
That had Rose McGowan in it and Ben Affleck. And let me tell you.
Which we have talked about before.
If you have never seen Phantoms, go watch it. It's great.
But yeah, it's like that style of comic book hero.
Yeah.
So like far modern comic book renaissance.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, so the aggressor is played by Todd Tucker. He currently has 81 credits in the makeup department, but only 10 acting credits between 1996 and 2017. Now, we will be seeing him again as a few different demons over the rest of the series, so that'll be a fun little Easter egg moment for us all.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Kaz is like, you just made a mistake, dude. And the big
serious mistake.
The big dude next to him just casually flicks out his butterfly knife and gets it ready. Very artfully, I must say.
Oh yeah, he did a really good job.
Not as good as Hit Girl, though.
No.
But
gorgeous. Nothing ever is.
Mm-hmm. And goes to attack him. So, Aggressor, like, speeds.
He zips around the guy like the Flash. Like, he's very much fast like the Flash, is what we're going to assume in this.
Without lightning, but yeah.
Well, yeah, no, but like in the speed context, not the reasoning for it context.
Oh, wait, no, hang on. You haven't seen this episode of Jessica Jones, but it's like one of the first ones of, I think, season 2, where there's a dude who just moves really fucking fast, and all they did was film him running, or like quick walking, and just sped it up to a ridiculous point. That's what this looks like.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't watched anything past the first season of Jessica Jones, and now everything's on Disney Plus, so I'm never going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody gives me their password to that, because I'm not going to buy it.
Put me in on that, bub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He says
the aggressor, the zips past...
says behind you, and then when the big guy turns around... Aggressor grabs him and throws him across the room, much like the filing cabinet. In fact, he probably lands on it.
Yes.
And then Kaz gets out a gun and does the quote-unquote gangsta tilt.
Yeah.
Also, I should mention, the second the aggressor comes in, it zooms in on his face and it Dutches the angle. And then the entire rest of the thing is pretty much done like that.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Also, I'm so happy that I know that term now. Yeah. Oh boy.
A Dutch angle is very
it's basically when you like tilt the camera a little bit.
Yeah.
And now I love it in photography, not so hot on it in filming. But it can work out to your advantage.
But I would rather,
much like a shaky cam.
But I would rather have a Dutch angle than a shaky cam.
Shaky cam can be useful. But too much shaky cam in a place where it's divorced from its context is bad. I mean, anything divorced from its context can be bad. We've all seen the Hank Green without context Tumblr.
Yes.
which is hilarious and bad.
Yes.
Anyway,
So
Kaz
shoots at the
gangsta
aggressor.
shoots the aggressor, who holds out a palm, and they just bounce off his palm because that's totally what fucking bullets do, and
Hey, you know,
hits Kaz.
who knows?
They directly ricochet
Yeah.
off of his
Yeah.
palm into Kaz's chest with the accuracy with which they were fired,
Yep.
which is to say precision,
Yep.
because precision and accuracy are two very different things.
Yep. And then the aggressor, having done his job, leaves through the wall he came in.
Like zips right back up.
Yeah.
We get a quick day shot of the manor, looking up from the street. Piper's car parked in the front. Another car drives by. And in the kitchen, we see a whole lot of random food items on the counter.
Piper is adding some mustard to a sandwich that she's making as Paige walks in through the back door. Piper is in a low-cut, long, slightly bell-sleeved red shirt and dark olive green pants. And she has this, like, beaded choker necklace on. Her hair is down. I love this outfit.
Yes, it was good.
I know
I love a bell sleeve.
Like, I know we don't talk about what outfits we enjoy until the very end, but I love this outfit. This is my outfit for Piper. Like, if she wore this every episode, I'd be cool with it. I love this outfit on her.
It's
And
good.
she is not in it nearly long enough.
And it's like, there's just like the barest, like the pants are low enough. They're not like super low, but she never wears low riders. But they're low enough, and the shirt is short enough that we're just getting like a little bit of belly strip.
Yeah, teeny
Just a
tiny.
little. It's
Teeny
very,
tiny.
it's a tasteful midriff.
Yes, and I love it.
Paige, meanwhile, is still in the same dress we saw her from the club, but someone has wiped the lipstick off of her and
mussed her
tousled
hair.
her hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think removed a little bit of eyeshadow or something.
Yeah, I don't remember the face thing, but her hair was definitely
But she was missing lipstick, for sure.
rumpled.
Yes.
That is a good word, rumpled. They bid each other good morning.
Also, her dress was wrinkled.
Like I said, she was rumpled. They bid each other good morning. Piper asks if Paige just got home.
And then Paige notices Piper's sandwich and is grossed out by the combo. So apparently, with the mustard, there's also hot fudge and pickles. And
there
this
was
sounds
something-
like pregnant lady cravings.
Yeah, this is absolutely pregnant lady cravings. But there was also other things on that sandwich. When we saw the sandwich, there was like meats,
tomato.
and yeah, there was definitely other stuff on that we aren't privy to. But let me tell you, pickles and hot fudge is perfectly a good combination. Pickles and peanut butter is good. It's a soup.
Pickles and mustard is also good.
It's a sweet and salty combination. Why do people have an issue with this?
Yep.
Just saying.
Like, now, I will say, putting hot fudge on cold pickles is probably not going to get you a satisfactory result.
I mean,
I doubt the fudge was actually hot. She could have just
but
called
it's
it
hot
chocolate
fudge sauce.
She could have
So-
just called it chocolate sauce.
But it isn't chocolate sauce. There is actually a difference between hot fudge and chocolate sauce.
I
It
get
is a
that.
different consistency.
But what do you call hot fudge when it's not hot? Because you can't call it fudge.
It's hot fudge sauce.
So fudge sauce.
But it's literally hot fudge sauce.
I know, but like,
It
if
is-
you don't heat it up, it's not hot. So do you really have the right to call it hot fudge sauce?
Yes. Because it's not cocoa mix, it's hot cocoa mix. You can make it cold, but it's meant to be done hot.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Anyway, the whole reason that I'm going on about this whole like weird combo of foods thing is because I was reading something where somebody was saying that it's weird that people like to dip their French fries in like
milkshake?
in milkshakes or whatever.
So good, though.
And I was like, okay, I can tell that you don't understand the whole sweet and salty thing. Like I grew up having potato latkes at the holidays.
Yes, you do applesauce.
Applesauce and or sour cream.
I have a friend who
So imagine-
grew up doing sugar. Like a little sprinkle of sugar on her fresh latkes.
Yeah.
And so we like had a Hanukkah party last year, and so someone brought regular sour cream, someone brought vegan sour cream, and then we had applesauce and sugar. And everyone's like, everyone else but her and me, because I don't give a fuck and I don't really know what's traditional, was like, sugar?
Yeah.
And so I made it a point to try all three individually, and then each combo, and then all three together. And it was good.
Yeah. It's like
Me, I like the sour cream. I like putting the dill in the sour cream, because that's like Jewish ranch.
I mean, yeah.
I just like that. I do that all the time now.
Yeah. But, like...
A latke is what you make of it.
Sorry, my brain heard a latke is what your Reykjavik, and I was very confused.
No, I get that. I get that. I did say that a little weirdly.
Anyway, but yeah, no, like...
Iceland is what you Reykjavik.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, it's a sweet, salty combination, and it's delicious. And don't knock it till you try it. I can say that as someone who dunks their Oreos in orange juice. It sounds gross, but it is delicious.
Oh, see, but... Oh, no, that combo doesn't sound good to me.
It's oranges and chocolate with a cream...
I don't like oranges and chocolate, though.
But neither do I! And yet, Oreos with orange juice is good to me.
I can see putting the icing in there, and then you get a creamsicle.
But see, and I don't like creamsicles either. But I can only do it with the Oreo thins, I will admit. The normal Oreo cookie is too thick, and I don't like them. The Oreo thins was the best thing that ever happened to me.
When she too thick.
Yes. Anyway, let's get back to this, shall we?
Piper is confused about Paige being gone all night, as she could have sworn she'd seen Paige in a room as she walked past during the night. And then Paige is like, was that about 2:30 and was I half naked? And Piper's like, what's going on?
Paige says that she doesn't want to bother Piper, and then she sits at the table. And Piper's like, I'm not bothered. I want to know why everyone thinks they're bothering me. And she asks, what's the matter?
Apparently, Paige was having sex with Dave, which she takes a very long and roundabout way of saying because she doesn't want to talk to a pregnant lady about sex, which Piper rightly calls her out on.
It's like, how do you think I got pregnant? I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Yeah. And she says they were doing, and she was about to, meaning orgasm. Let's use our proper words. They were having vaginal intercourse. She was about to orgasm. And then suddenly she orbed out. And I was hoping, now I didn't really remember this plotline much. I was hoping Piper would be like, I remember that time. Because she used to freeze Leo during sex.
Yes, the only difference being in this scenario, if we remember that, is that freezing Leo, she's not leaving the room.
True.
Paige is actively leaving the room. Now, Piper asks if Dave noticed. Paige says no, she orbed back before the lights came on.
Which, her orbing is lights.
Exactly.
So, he's definitely gonna fucking notice.
Like, what in the what now?
Uh-huh. If she were just a teleporter, this would not be a problem. But no, she orbs.
Yeah. Anyway, she thinks that it would have been embarrassing.
And Piper's like, embarrassing? You could have been exposed in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And Paige is like, well, I didn't plan on it. And Piper, does a little therapy session and is like, well, why do you think that happened? Was Dave not getting the job done?
Paige says that he's doing that just fine, but that she likes him a lot, and he's the first guy besides Glenn that she's been with since finding out she was a witch. And also reminding you, Glenn was told she was a witch.
Yes.
So with Glenn, it wasn't really an issue.
Yeah. Paige says she's been so busy protecting the secret, she hasn't been able to let her guard down. And she asks how Piper did it, and Piper's like, married an angel? Which sounded like a question and not an answer.
Yeah, but it's like, how did you do it? I guess it was marrying an angel is how
No, I thought she was asking for clarification on what do it meant.
Oh, no.
Like, how did I marry an angel? Like, that's what it sounded like Piper was saying to me.
No, it was more of
I get that, but like the way she said it made it sound like it was a clarification question, not an answer to Paige's question. And then there's an orbiting sound and a crash in the other room, and we hear Leo groaning.
We cut over to the conservatory, our wicker room, as Leo and a man in a white robe,
a white, vaguely sparkly crushed velvet robe,
seem to have orbed into the coffee table. That brings our furniture annihilation quotient up to 3 for the season and 71 for the series.
Oh, yeah.
We will learn who this man is in just a moment, so let me tell you about the actor very quickly. Gary Becker was born April 11th, 1951 in St. Louis, Missouri. He's got 76 acting credits between 1984 and 2008. And the only thing that I found that was interesting was between 1994 and 2008, he was on Law & Order 6 times, playing 4 different characters.
That's fascinating. So at least twice he was playing the same character.
The last few times he was on was the same character.
Oh, okay.
It's very weird. Anyway,
yeah.
Leo is in a dark jacket over a gray t-shirt tucked into his jeans.
Yeah. They get up. Leo apologizes. The man who looks like an old Shel Silverstein to me.
Okay.
He does. Or like
right.
an asshole Santa who shaves with a number 1.
Okay.
You know, the number
Yeah,
1
no,
clipper. Okay.
I am aware of a clipper now.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yep.
Criticizes his orbing skills. Leo's like, I'm nervous. And then Piper and Paige walk in.
Piper asks what happens. The man says he missed, which I started laughing at. Piper asks who the critic is, and Leo introduces him as Elder Ramus. This is the first time since episode 311 that we have seen an Elder, and the first time that we have seen an Elder's face, because the last time they all just had their hoods up.
Yep.
And we never got to see them.
Uh-huh. And so Piper is, of course, surprised to have an Elder in the house. Paige says Leo told them he wasn't coming until that night. And Piper's like, oh, people not been telling me shit again. Mm-hmm. So Leo's like, oh yeah, well, we didn't want you to worry until it was absolutely necessary about, demonic threats.
Piper wants to know what threats they're talking about as Ramus walks around the room and deciding that the house will, quote, have to do. And then he just wanders off. And I was like, listen, bucko.
Asshole Santa.
Knock it off. Piper asks what they're up to. Paige says that it was Phoebe's idea. And Leo says that they've been trying to make things easier and relieve some of Piper's stress. So Piper tells them to stop it because it's pissing her off.
She reminds them she's pregnant, not terminal, and asks why Ramus is there. Leo says Ramus is retiring, which apparently elders do.
Apparently.
And has come down to pass on his powers to a new elder.
Piper wonders why that's a big deal, and Leo says that there isn't a demon alive who wouldn't want his powers, and the elders want them to protect him in case of an attack. So why is he... What? There are so many questions there.
Yeah, and apparently, as Paige clarifies, the reason why he can't just orb out is because his powers are mental, not physical. And then basically, shames Leo for not telling the newest of his charges that.
Yeah.
Cause they've known Paige a year.
Yeah, because Paige asks why he can't orb out. And, apparently not all elders have the ability to orb, because white lighters are the ones that have the ability to orb. Mm-hmm. Like I said,
it's confusing. But
so
they've been
questions.
called elder white lighters, so you'd think they'd be able to fucking orb.
Right? You'd think so. Apparently not. Paige quips that there's nothing wrong with old guy's hearing. Piper replies, just his attitude, and Leo tells her to have a little respect.
Piper asks who the new elder is, and when he gets there, and Ramus is like, shrug.
No idea. I'm a no-no.
He then says that the only thing he knows is that the transfer must take place during that night's equinox, or he will lose his powers forever. And Piper is like, so we sit and wait? And he's like, yep, unfortunately. Yep.
Now, I'm assuming that the equinox he's talking about would be the fall equinox, because the fall equinox would have happened in September, and the next one isn't until December. So
No. That's the solstice. That's not an equinox.
You are right. But either way.
The autumnal equinox is in September.
Yes.
The vernal equinox is in April? March.
Something like that.
It's in March.
Not now.
Yes.
Is the only
And then the summer solstice is in July, and the winter solstice is in December.
Yes. The point is... I'm not sure when this episode is supposed to take place.
Yeah.
And why,
They clearly were not aware quite of actual air dates.
Yeah.
Or they could have planned this a little bit better. Or, who knows?
Or it's some other kind of equinox that we aren't privy to.
Oh, the planets are aligning, and the Titans are going to be freed from Tartarus, and now Hercules has got to go get his girlfriend from hell. Sorry, not hell, the underworld.
Sure.
What happens when planets align.
Yep.
Mercury is in retrograde. Isn't there a website called Is Mercury in Retrograde?
Probably.
I think there is, and you can look it up and it'll either say yes or no.
Yep. Anyway, we then get a shot of an airplane taking off and hear the sound of said airplane continue as Kevin walks into what seems to be some sort of abandoned storage building that is filled with random plane parts and a really old computer on a desk with a shit ton of large binders.
I think it's supposed to be like a simulation room or something. It's probably for like pilot training.
Yeah,
Because there's like
idea.
the nose and windshield of a plane, and there's like one, maybe two chairs up in there, and there's stairs
like
coming down.
there's like a
from
little
it.
cockpit with a single chair.
A very
in it.
small cockpit.
Yeah,
For
and
like
there's
a-
like stairs going up to the
Like
cockpit.
a Boeing 717.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or something.
I don't know planes. Anyway,
For some kind of charter plane.
sure. I don't. The only plane that I know is a Cessna, and that's only because my friend Darren flies them.
Mm-hmm.
No clue.
Lockheed Martin, maybe.
Sure. Anyway, Kevin calls out for Arnon, and then as he's walking past some stuff, Arnon appears sitting in the cockpit chair behind him, the one that's
A
the
very,
little...
very good practical shot.
Yes, it was
Loved
very
it.
nicely done. He says that he was worried about Kevin. Kevin turns around saying that Arnon scared him, which is the second time he's mentioned that. Arnon apologizes and then asks where the aggressor is.
Kevin says he ripped up the drawing, so he's gone, which makes Arnon super mad. Apparently, forgetting Kevin can just fucking
Draw him again, yeah.
And so Kevin explains the aggressor killed Kaz, and Arnon's like, "Bitch, that's what we wanted a superhero for in the first place." And Kevin's like, "But I didn't want to kill anyone." So Arnon's like, "Well, Kaz was a bad guy, just like Ramus is." And so now we know Arnon wants the Elder's powers.
Of course he does. Kevin apologizes, but says that he's not going to draw him again. Arnon says they had a deal and that he needs the aggressor to take out Ramus and rid him of his powers.
Kevin's like, "Can't you just do that yourself?" And Arnon's like, "Bitch, I can only hear them. I can't use them.
Yes, I can sense great powers. That's how I found you.
I smell them. I can't. I can't delta. He only has smelting and not delting capabilities."
Wow.
He can feel, he can't deal.
There you go. Anyway, he says that he sensed the powers in Kevin. That's how he'll find Ramus. And then he takes out the sketchbook from Kevin's bag, tells Kevin to help him do the right thing, and bring the superhero back to life before somebody loses theirs.
Over at the Bay Mirror, Phoebe's assistant walks in with a box full of letters. She is once again played by Tinsley Grimes. And she's in a really cute little red shirt with those scrunchy sleeves.
Yeah, like the little ones that like you can pull the
drawstring.
Yeah.
Drawstring.
Yeah, scrunchable sleeves. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's like this cute little gray skirt. It was a really nice outfit. It was absolutely adorable. Phoebe is sitting at her desk working on her laptop. She is wearing a pink tank top that is cropped with no bra. She has paired this with a short, floofy brown skirt that has a hot pink ruffle on the bottom trim and tall boots.
They're like cream colored with some brown detail or some shit.
It's an odd outfit.
It's an outfit.
It's not bad per se.
No.
But it's odd.
Mm-hmm.
She's got her hair down with two little rhinestone clips in the shape of a heart, I do believe, holding back some of the slightly curled mop on her head. And she's wearing the same glasses that she had in the last episode.
Yeah. Phoebe asks if the container that her assistant is bringing in is all life and death. And the assistant is like, yeah, most of them aren't. So Phoebe's like, I can't keep up. They keep coming.
The assistant tells her that she just needs to answer 2 or 3 a day and ignore the rest because she can't help everybody.
Which Phoebe says is the problem. And then the phone rings, so she thanks the assistant, who leaves. And Phoebe answers the phone to Piper, who does not introduce herself and just starts talking.
Yes.
And asks for advice about what to do with a younger, overbearing sister who's treating her pregnant older sister like a porcelain doll.
Yeah.
And Alyssa's face.
This is like my
when she
favorite
starts hearing
moment.
this grimace she does is like my favorite facial expression that Phoebe gets at any time. Because she's just like, oh shit. as
Yeah.
she's listening to Piper.
I also thought it was kind of funny because we see Piper, like, putting away a jar of pickles.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like, she's putting away food. It was very funny.
Yeah.
So Phoebe replies...
And, of course, she has the giant fucking phone cord.
Yes.
Which is apparently not kinked at all, which is impressive.
Yes. Phoebe says that she should reply with a tentative, thank you?
And then Piper replies with a knock it off. And Phoebe's like, yeah, that's better advice. And then asks if she's mad.
Piper says she won't be if Phoebe will come home and babysit Ramus. Phoebe says that she's got a gazillion letters to get to. Piper's like, yeah, well, I've got DJs to audition. And Piper says that her letters are more serious than that, and mentions that Piper isn't supposed to be working anyway.
Piper Phoebes her, and Phoebe asks if she's not allowed to be worried about her niece, and asks if Paige can't come, and Piper deadpans, apparently not.
And I lost it.
I cackled.
The
dog was woken up by that laugh.
It was great. It was
and then
perfection.
Mentions that Paige is with Dave, trying desperately not to orb, which apparently Paige has discussed with Phoebe at some point, because Phoebe gets the meaning.
Yeah.
And starts to ask about someone else when Cole appears in her doorway, clearing his throat.
Phoebe says his name, and Piper thinks that Cole watching over an elder isn't exactly a good idea.
I think it's a better idea than anything else they've had in this episode.
Well,
frankly.
you know. Phoebe stammers a bit before telling Piper that she'll be home as soon as she can, and hanging up. Phoebe tells Cole that she doesn't have time for whatever it is that he wants, and he says that it's not about them, he needs her help. She replies, who doesn't? And he asks her if she's heard of Edward Miller, the slumlord. And, like, I had this thing about in Night Vale.
Yeah.
What was the character? It was whatever the name, the farmer.
I
Can't think of it now.
John Peters, the farmer.
Yeah, like, it was Edward Miller, the slumlord. John Peters, the farmer. Like,
No, it's not John Peters, the farmer. It's John Peters, the farmer.
Yeah.
And they say that every time.
Yes, every single time. But so that's what I was thinking for some reason with this.
Yeah.
It's like, have you heard of Edward Miller? The
slumlord.
slumlord.
The slumlord.
Yeah, it was very funny. Anyway, slumlord is a derogatory term for a landlord that attempts to maximize profit by minimizing spending on property maintenance. This usually happens in neighborhoods that are already not that great, and they can usually get away with it because the tenants don't have the money to sue.
Mm-hmm. And, we say derogatory. We mean accurate.
I mean, yes.
Landlords as a species could stand to be doing better things for their tenants, let's face it.
Yeah, there are some amazing landlords out there.
There are some decent landlords, but a lot of landlords suck.
Yes.
Frankly. And they
especially
are
ones
allowed to suck.
Yes, especially ones that have a huge apartment complex in a slightly run-down town.
Because, guess what? Capitalism sucks. And landlords are empowered by capitalism.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's not so much a slippery slope as it is a set of stairs with a very inviting smell at the bottom.
Okay.
The smell is money.
Yes. Yes. That is an interesting descriptor there.
I don't know where that metaphor was going. It just
Stairs with the smell of money. Sure, why not? Cole says that Edward Miller took millions from the city in renovation money, but instead of fixing up the building, he's trying to kick the tenants out. Phoebe stops, asking how can he do that, and Cole says he doesn't know and he's trying to get an injunction to stop him.
Phoebe wonders why he's going through all the red tape instead of just turning him into a fountain pen.
Now, the idiom of red tape refers to excessive regulation or rigid conformity to formal rules that are considered to be redundant or bureaucratic and hinders or prevents action or decision-making. It is believed to have originated with Charles V in the 1500s. He was the King of Spain, Lord of the Netherlands, Duke of Burgundy, Archduke of Austria, and the Holy Roman Emperor.
So basically, a lot of hats.
Yes.
And he would use red tape. In this case, tape being a sort of
like
ribbon.
a ribbon, yeah.
A sort of ribbon that you use to bind edges of things. Mm-hmm. Like, like the seam of two fabrics or something, or like the hem of a skirt, like kind of a deal. Yeah. In this case, it would be the edges of the most important administrative dossiers.
Yeah.
Which means the ones that needed immediate discussions by the Council of State, separating them from, like, ordinary issues that were bound with ordinary, just like string, like three-hole punch string.
Yeah, like string or twine.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's just very interesting that it literally was like
red tape.
Red tape.
Yeah, I always knew that. Like, I knew that had to be
I just didn't realize.
literalism.
I knew it had to be a literalism.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize it had originated in the 1500s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was not a thing I was aware of.
Mm-hmm. I think it's had more recent incarnations in certain ways where, like, stuff might be sealed with red tape that you then have to cut through.
Well, I know, like, evidence tape.
Yeah, that could be
is
it. But, like,
usually
bureaucratic stuff. Like, high-level bureaucratic stuff sealed with, like, now literal tape, not, like, hemming or fabric tape.
Yeah.
So anyway, Cole is like, I was kind of tempted, meaning to turn him into a fountain pen, but then decided he's never going to use his powers again, no matter what.
Yeah.
And the way he says this is like, okay, great. So, end up?
Yeah.
Which, like, even if I didn't remember what happened.
Yeah. Phoebe asks, since when? And he replies, since I tried to strangle you with them.
And she makes a face, and then grabs her coat and bag and leaves her office, telling her assistant she'll be working from home for the rest of the day.
He stops her from leaving, saying that the tenants are going to be evicted that night, and he can't get an injunction until the next day, so he wants her to just, threaten to expose him in the paper, or leak it to a TV station.
Phoebe says she doesn't even have enough time to help her readers with their problems, and he tells her that whole families,
along with kids and babies,
will be kicked out with nowhere to go. So Phoebe's like, I think it's great, you want to help, but I'm powerless to do anything.
He tells her that she might be a lot of things, but powerless isn't one of them.
He walks away, and then the assistant is like, oh, was he talking about Edward Miller, the slumlord? And Phoebe's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, you did get some letters from his tenant. And Phoebe's like, where? She's like,
I was like, I haven't seen them. And the assistant was like, no, you just haven't gotten to them.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that she wants to help everybody, but you'd think that she would at least, like, read things first. Like, read 6 or 7 of them and figure out which of those 6 or 7 she has to answer right now.
Or, like, maybe part of the assistant's job is...
read them first and give her the most important ones.
She definitely... that must already be part of her job, because she's got to look through what is going to be fan mail and what is going to be, like, pertinent to the column. So she must be sorting along those lines already. So why can't she... like, skim. She's probably a very good skimmer at this point anyway. Skim letter and maybe, like, okay, family issue. Okay, job issue. Okay, like, other thing. Like, generally categorize.
We're going to get kicked out of our apartment because our landlord is a slumlord. Maybe put that one at the top of the pile.
Yeah, our landlord's an asshole who's extorting the state government for money and, turning against his tenants because he can't make a quick buck from him.
Yeah. Anyway, we then get a quick shot of a Rice Roni streetcar.
Yay!
I was very excited. That brings us up to 2 for the season and 41 for the series.
Remember, we had none last season.
Yeah.
None.
Still sad about that.
None.
As it drives past, we are shown a building that I'm fairly certain we've seen before, and then we are inside what I'm assuming is Dave's apartment.
Now, okay, we see Paige and Dave in Dave's bed. Is Dave's bed in the middle of the room? Is it against any walls?
I don't think it was.
What the fuck, Dave?
I mean...
what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little weird.
What the fuck, Dave?
It was at least a foot away from the wall.
No! He's a fucking psychopath! You do not do that!
I mean...
there is no headboard on this bed!
I mean...
who puts their bed in the middle of the room? That's like asking for monsters.
I mean, the fact that there's no other furniture in the room that I saw is also weird.
They're going with like a minimalist sort of thing, like modern, whatever. Basically, they just needed a bed because they needed to be having sex. They didn't need anything else in the apartment because nothing else was relevant to plot, so they didn't do any set dressing, and there's a window, and that's it.
Yeah. So...
What the fuck, Dave?
So they're in bed, apparently just finishing having sex. He gets off of her, and we see that the blanket is appropriately covering, because it's covering her just under what I assumed was a bra. Apparently, it turns out later on we'll notice that it is actually a negligee of some sort. So I'll get there in a minute. But it's black and lacy with little pink bows on it. It's kind of adorable. Mm-hmm. But he is apparently not wearing anything. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, was that under the dress? She wore that under the dress? How? Wait, no, she couldn't have worn that.
No, she changed and went back to Dave's.
Yeah, exactly. It took me a moment to realize that. Because I was like, there's no way she was wearing that under the dress. We would have seen it. It was a whole big thing.
Nope.
Anyway.
Also, she said she was half naked when Piper saw her. And I'm like, what are you hiding? What half are you hiding under that dress?
Well, I mean, half naked just means the bottoms were gone.
But it was a dress.
No, but that's what I'm saying, is if this was the night before...
Yes, but she can't remove half of the dress.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Maybe it was pulled down?
Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, we're going to fast track...
She certainly wasn't wearing a bra with that dress. Sorry.
No, she was not. We're going to fast track the scene because it's awkward as hell.
There's a bit of conversation where he's trying to make sure that she's getting off. She's not. And assures Dave it's her fault, not his. But it's complicated.
He says that she's not going to scare him away by talking to him.
And she very blandly goes for the, I'm not like other girls excuse.
Yeah, but she says...
But she's really not like other girls in a way that he could possibly imagine. And I'm like, is he going to interpret that as her saying she's trans or what? Like,
right? That's exactly what I thought.
Or intersex? Like, something?
I'm like, what is she trying to
He
come
already
out
knows
here?
she has a vagina, so...
But, like, what is happening
like, would
here?
he assume that automatically? But, like, the way she's saying it, one would assume she means a vast physical difference that is interfering with sex.
Yeah, but it's not.
Which is not the case.
It's not the case. Anyway, he tries to say something else. She tells him to forget that she said anything, even though she didn't actually say anything. And then he asks if she wants to try again, and they start making out. And the funniest thing in this entire scene for me is it starts out and we hear some, like, sexy music happening.
The same sexy music that was happening at the beginning.
Right. But no, but that's what I'm saying. We start the scene, and there's, like, this, like, sexy music happening. And as soon as they're over, and he basically is like, did you have, did you?
Yeah, like, cuts out.
And she says no, and it, like, record scratches cuts out.
Yeah.
And then, at the end of the scene, he's like, yeah, do you want to try again? And he's like, yeah. And he starts kissing her, and the music, like, comes back on, like somebody just turned the volume up.
Yep.
It was beautifully done.
It was very comedic.
Yes, it was great.
But yeah, even though this is supposed to be about her, like, being awkward about her secret, it just comes off like someone who's, like, afraid to come out to their partner.
Yeah, it was a little weird because of the way it was being
But also,
done.
It's retroactively weird. I'm sure it didn't feel this weird at the time because, like, representation-wise,
right,
there wasn't a lot of trans rep, and also, we know Paige isn't trans, or at least we think so. Headcanon whenever you want.
Yeah. But, like...
So, like, now that's our first jump, that's what she's implying. But then, it obviously wouldn't have been.
Right.
Which is just interesting.
Though
hey,
I'm fairly
our brains
certain...
have changed. Our perspectives have changed so much in the intervening 14, 15, 16, 17 years. 17 years.
Like, what a concept. You learn new labels, and your brain goes, oh, that's what that is.
Right?
Everyone
also,
should be more informed.
Can we drop the whole, like, I'm not like other girls thing?
Right? I hate that trope.
It's like, of course you're not. No girls are like other girls, except occasionally they're like some other girls and not other girls. Like, there's it's a kaleidoscope.
Twins. Even twins. Yes, we look identical, but we're not the same person.
Correct. Even, dare I say, quadruplets.
Yeah, quintuplets. They might look the same. They're not the same person. You cannot treat them the same.
Yep. Anyway, back at the manor, Piper walks into the dining room, calling for Leo. She's added a lovely little brown jacket to her outfit. Ramus is in the middle, like, he's kind of in front of the foyer table.
I have figured out what the wording is. The parlor.
Oh, he's definitely in the foyer.
No, but I'm saying the rooms, we were trying to figure out the rooms.
Okay, so
we have the living room, we have the conservatory, and the parlor is in the
parlor.
middle.
Okay, got it.
That's the one, we keep forgetting the name of it.
But he's not in the parlor, so
he's
besides the point.
He's in the hallway outside the parlor.
He is centered, like, when you look through the dining room, he is centered in that arch, even though he's a little beyond it, basically. He's, like, right in between the dining room table and that little table in the foyer that's
missing.
That's occasionally missing for some goddamn reason.
Yeah, it's not there
and occasionally it's there so a demon can fall on it. Like,
yeah.
It's there for impact. It's not there for purpose.
Yeah, it's not there today.
Nope.
So, he's meditating in midair, and with this, like, light orbs surrounding him.
Just like Leo's done before.
Yeah. She calls for Leo again, and Ramus apparently loses his concentration and falls to the floor, and I started laughing so hard.
She asks what he's doing. He's like, my meditation requires peace and quiet. And she's like, you're in the wrong house for that, buddy.
She asks if he's seen Leo. He says he's upstairs, and she tells Ramus to tell Leo that she'll be at P3 and that Leo can watch over him until Phoebe shows up. Ramus says that it's not Leo's job to watch him, it's hers, and that those are the rules.
And Piper's like, not a big fan. I take pride in breaking your rules, remember?
Ramus says that, yes, she's been a real pain over the years. And Piper's like, yeah, I know, you elders were dead set against me marrying Leo. And he's like, well, not all of us were.
He says that some of them foresaw the special baby she'd be carrying, and she starts to, like, say something scathing, but then stops and is like, what do you mean by special? And that's when Phoebe walks in through the front door.
She has added a denim blue jacket that has brown ruffled trim with some detailing on the left arm that I think was supposed to be an embroidered rose in all brown. And then it, like, ties in the middle with a little bow.
Mm-hmm. No buttons.
So it's definitely a fashion coat.
Just like Star Wars, no buttons.
Yes, it's definitely a fashion coat, not a warmth coat.
Piper asks Ramus again what he means, and Phoebe comes over. She's like, oh, I can't stay long. And then Ramus is like, you'll see. Super helpful, bub.
Right. Phoebe shakes Ramus's hand, telling him that it's an honor and a pleasure to meet an elder, and then tells Piper that she needs to stop the dirtbag landlord.
Ramus puts his hand, like, up to his, like, forehead, like he's getting a headache or brain freeze or migraine or something, and Piper's like, hey, what's up? And he tells her someone is coming for him. And then the aggressor comes in through the wicker room doors, which happen to be open.
No. He doesn't break the doors. He opens the doors.
Oh, he opens
the
doors.
They literally open, and he comes in.
See, I got confused because that door never gets closed through the entire rest of the episode. Like, I don't think it gets closed. Because later, there's a bit in the wicker room where, like, Leo's like, oh, we should move you to a more secure location. He's like, doors aren't going to stop it, Leo.
Yeah, the doors.
And I'm like, but the door is fucking open.
Yeah, I mentioned that, so we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I just wanted to mention it now. Like, he doesn't break the door. And also, no one closes the door.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, but I like the fact that he doesn't break the doors. Because he's not really there to hurt anybody.
He just opens it really fast.
Yeah.
The squeak is very quick.
Yeah, so the doors open, he comes zipping in. The aggressor calls Ramus by name. Ramus tells Piper to freeze him. Piper tries, but he fights through it. And then he heads for Ramus, and Phoebe pushes him out of the way. Pushes Ramus.
Well, I mean, he's moving so fast. It's not like he fights it. It's just, she slows down molecules. His molecules just happen to be going faster.
Yes. So Phoebe pushes Ramus out of the way, and then calls for Paige. She orbs in, and this is where we can see that what I thought was a bra is actually a nightie.
And she complains, messy hair, that she was so close. And then the aggressor is like, I don't want to hurt you. I just want Ramus. And Phoebe's like, forget about that, and goes to kick him, but he grabs her and flings her across the room into Piper and Paige.
Yeah, he grabs her by the leg.
Yeah.
And just swings her like a baseball bat.
Yep.
She knocks into Piper and Paige.
Like a shot put.
Yeah. She knocks into Piper and Paige. They fall to the ground, apparently breaking the bookshelf that was like the triangular bookshelf and the table that was next to the couch.
And this is where I can see Paige is still wearing underwear under that.
Well,
I get that that's for, the network.
yes.
And, censorship and standards and practices and whatever. But, it's really funny to me that she orbs in the middle of sex and she's still wearing a top and bottoms.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yes. So they break 2 pieces of furniture, which brings our furniture annihilation quotient up to 5 now for the season and 73 for the series.
So many in this episode.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, Leo runs down the stairs, calls out for Ramus, and dives at him to orb out with him.
He doesn't make it all the way down the stairs. He dives from 2 steps down from the middle landing.
And is in the middle of knocking Ramus over when they orb out. So I want to know how that landing was.
They totally landed on the floor in heaven. They just...
Yeah, but it's clouds.
They just flat out on the clouds.
Uh-huh.
The aggressor leaves out the way he came just as fast.
And Phoebe asks, who was that masked man?
Which I think we heard Prue say back in 304 in reference to Micah. But I don't think I actually mentioned that that's a reference to the Lone Ranger.
Okay, that's funny.
So
I knew it was a trope.
Yes, it is absolutely a trope. So the Lone Ranger is a fictional character who is a former Texas Ranger who fights outlaws in the American Old West with his Native American friend, Tonto.
Ha.
Now, the Lone Ranger has a horse named Silver, and Tonto has a horse named Scout. And Tonto also has an eagle named Taka.
Cool.
So there's that. Lone Ranger has been around since 1933. He started on a radio show. It got popular and then was turned into books, a TV show that aired from 1949 to 1957, as well as comic books and several movies. And some of the fun things that embody the personality of the Lone Ranger and make me want to adopt him into, kind of a D&D character.
You mean adapt?
Yes. Adapt him. I knew what I meant. Shush.
Cool.
He's never seen without his mask or some sort of disguise. And he's never kept long enough to be unmasked. He always uses perfect grammar and precise speech, devoid of any slang or colloquialisms. Whenever he is forced to use a gun, he always tries to disarm his opponent as painlessly as possible instead of shooting to kill. He never smokes or drinks, so there were no saloons, only cafes with waiters and food. Criminals were never shown to be in positions of wealth or power, and they were never shown as successful or glamorous.
Oh.
And his adversaries were almost always other Americans, except in a few cases when he was most notably helping the Mexican president battle against the French emperor's troops.
See, what I remember about this show, which I never really watched, but I remember learning trivia about it, is that Tonto calls the Lone Ranger Kimosabe, which is just kind of like a sort of like a mushy-mouthed way of saying he who knows nothing in Spanish.
Sure.
So basically, Tonto's constantly calling the Lone Ranger, hey idiot.
I mean, yeah.
Which also Tonto's a really bad caricature.
Oh, yes.
Just super fucking
But you
racist.
have to also remember the time period.
Yes, but then there was the remake with Johnny Depp.
Oh, let's not go there. Let's not go there, because like the Avatar Last Airbender movie, it doesn't exist.
What Avatar Last Airbender movie?
Exactly.
Sorry, what Last Airbender movie? Because it wasn't called Avatar.
Exactly. It does not exist. We don't
There is
acknowledge
no
it.
Warren Bossing say.
Yeah. We go to commercial break, and when
Which
we
I realize is not a reference you get yet.
No.
Okay, we'll get there.
We go to commercial break, and when we come back, the girls are walking into the attic. Paige has added a blue silk robe over her nightie. She has no idea what to look in the Book of Shadows for. Piper suggests A, because that's what was on his chest, but Phoebe says he's not going to be in the book. They should start looking at comic book conventions.
We're not going to tangent on those.
Yeah, I'll totally link to the wiki on the website for anyone who wants to read about it, but if you don't know a comic book convention, I have no... Yeah.
Anyway, Paige starts flipping through the book, says he could still be a demon, and Phoebe's like, he was wearing tights.
But technically he wasn't, though maybe it was like some sort of spandex. But
They're
it was
leggings.
it was neck to toe pleather.
Pretty much,
it was,
yeah. Leo orbs in, telling them that Ramus is safe, but can't stay up there for long, or he'll miss the equinox, which apparently has a specific timestamp on it.
Yeah, which is why I am very confused about this whole equinox thing. Because he can't stay up there for long, or he'll miss the equinox. I understand that time works differently up there, but... like, if you're going back up from here and the equinox is happening here, what? It's very confusing and I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Phoebe asks if he can just wait for the next one. Leo's like, no, needs to pass on his powers. So Phoebe tells them that she's only got that night to help families from getting evicted and being forced onto the street. Piper tells her that supervillains outrank slumlords, which,
I mean,
only in that one of them isn't super, other than being a super asshole.
Well, Leo asks Paige where she orbed in from because
as he notices her outfit.
Yeah, she closes her robe,
which doesn't have a tie.
No, but she like closes it tighter over her, holding it shut, and says she was dealing with some personal problems.
And he tries to be like, well, I'm your white lady, I can help you with those. And both Piper and Paige go, no! When he asks if they want to talk about it.
It was perfect timing.
Phoebe asks if they can concentrate on comic book guy. Piper says, that might be a good place to start. Remember the Demon of Illusion?
He was, of course, back from episode 218, for anyone who doesn't remember. Like Paige. She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Leo says that he was before her time, but that he literally hid in movies.
Mm-hmm. Piper says that the guy could be hiding in or coming out of comics. And so Paige wonders if they need to check comic book stores, which Phoebe, of course, knows will take forever. And Paige tells her, go handle Slumlord. Phoebe's like, but we should do it together. And Paige is like, oh yeah, well, I'll overbad if I see a dude in tights.
Phoebe tells her that it's dangerous and she shouldn't do it alone, and Piper reminds them that she's not the Invisible Woman and they need to stop excluding her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I'm going to link to the wiki for the Invisible Woman on the website, but other than her being part of the Fantastic Four and being the first female superhero created by Marvel during the Silver Age of comics, I don't really find her all that interesting.
No, I'm still a little unhappy with the whole, like, the first Fantastic Four movie with Jessica Alba, where she was playing Invisible Woman, where they had the whole, like, oh, she doesn't know yet how to unphase all of her clothing, so she has to get naked.
Yep.
And then she gets down to her bra, and she phases back in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not fun.
Yeah.
Male gazy. Very male gazy. Don't like it.
Yeah, not so much. And then there was the remake.
Which
I
no
didn't
one
even
watched. No one watched it.
Yeah.
Although, it's really funny because both of the people who've played the fire dude have gone on to be other Marvel superheroes in movies people actually watched.
Yep.
Or sorry, Marvel characters, not superheroes.
Yes.
Because the other one was Michael I'm bad with names.
Michael Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan.
B. Jordan, yeah.
Yes. Mr. Bumpy Arms.
Yes.
I see that and I'm just like, I want a pet. I want to pet that.
He seems,
with consent.
I was like, he seems like he'd be touch friendly.
Yes.
I have a shirt like that.
I have a dress like that. Yeah. That's why I have the coffee mug at work that I have, because it has bumps on it. And I'm just like, want pet.
Yes.
With consent, but want pet.
Yes.
Like, it wouldn't be sexual. I'd just be like, texture.
Yes. It is nice.
Uh-huh.
Textural
I want to touch it.
Textural petting. That sounds like a cover band name.
Uh,
Anyway, Piper tells Paige to get into something less comfortable, and they leave the attic.
Back at the abandoned building, Kevin's neck is glowing as he holds his hand over it, and he seems to be in pain. Arnon, who's sitting there, holding his hand in a choking manner, but like 5 feet back, is upset that the aggressor has failed, saying that Kevin drew him to be invincible, and that the equinox comes around once in a lifetime.
So here's my question again. It is indeed a special equinox, not just a normal one. Because now it comes around once in a lifetime.
I don't think he means the equinox so much as the opportunity that this equinox presents.
I don't know.
Because, let's face it, the sine waves of an elder retiring and an equinox happening are not going to happen every year. They're not going to happen every decade. They might happen once a century. We don't know.
We don't know. Anyway,
I'm a no-no.
I'm a no-no as well. Arnon says that he doesn't plan on spending the rest of his life just sensing power. He wants Ramus's power.
Kevin says he tried, which means Arnon's not choking him hard enough. And Arnon says he didn't try hard enough, and then releases the light on Kevin's neck, and it kind of like zooms back into his hand.
Yeah. Kevin coughs. Arnon orders him to draw a new, stronger aggressor that will be able to handle the witches.
Kevin then asks, very stupidly, about turning the aggressor onto Arnon, who's like, I'd kill you before you could try, and then kill everyone else who cares about you. So Arnon tells him to draw and walks away, and Kevin just kind of like kneels in the corner where he's been dropped.
Yeah.
I think
he literally just kneels down, picks up the sketchbook
that
and
Arnon
then,
tossed at him.
Yeah, and still in the crouched position, starts to draw a woman on the page. It's quite a big face in the middle of the page that looks like Phoebe.
It's really fun because you just see him like over the shoulder sketching like, okay, face, and then it cuts away and then it cuts back and like, okay, there's like some wispy hair, cuts away, cuts back, oh hey, it's Phoebe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoever drew this was doing good.
Yeah, they did a very good job. But it's very much a large face that is Phoebe just in the middle of the page. But I just love the fact that he's just sitting there crouched on the ground drawing.
Yep.
I was like, that cannot be comfortable.
No, but I remember doing that as a kid. Anyway, we jump over to Phoebe, who's walking into the Slumlords building, which is definitely a redress of something.
Yes.
Don't know what yet, but it's a redress. Yeah. Where they just made it very gray, very boring, and put trash in it.
Yep.
And also cops. Or security
guards. Yeah. Phoebe walks up to a man wearing a tan suit who's standing next to one of the security guys as the tenants are being, escorted out by security. We learn that this man in the tan suit is Edward Miller. Now, the security guy is credited as Kasim Saul. He only has 11 acting credits between 1997 and 2015, and this was his third gig. He's also a stunt guy and has 8 stunt credits between 2012 and 2018. Our slumlord is played by David Pressman. Now, this one, I went down a little rabbit hole. He was born November 6, 1965 in New York City. He has 75 acting credits so far, starting back in 1985. Now, according to IMDb, his birth name is David Yedigarov. Hi, Blue. Apparently, Yedigarov came from his mother's first husband, named Andrei David Yedigarov. But it doesn't say that Andrei is his father. It says that his parents are Lana Saunders and Lawrence Pressman. Now, there's got to be more to this story that I could not find online. But Lana and Lawrence didn't get married until 1973, and this kid was born in 65. So, he definitely has the first husband's last name. Mm-hmm. Now, fun fact, Lawrence Pressman, his father, stepfather, whatever, his birth name was actually David M. Pressman. And he is a total that guy. I have no idea what the M stands for, but he has been in a ton of stuff. Once you see his picture, you're just like, oh yeah, I know him.
I think he just put the M in there because then it's M. Pressman.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's more impressive.
Sure. Lana is a nickname for Svetlana Nikolaevna. She was unfortunately diagnosed with MS in 1990 and died in 2007.
Phoebe introduces herself to Slumlord and wants to know if she can ask him some questions. He says no, walks off, so she follows him and asks him how it feels to be the most hated man in the city. And she appears to have some kind of voice recorder, I think.
I don't think so.
She has some kind of device that she is holding in her hand that I am interpreting to be a voice recorder. Because she is attempting to interview him. Anyway, he questions her. She says that he will be the next morning, meaning most hated man, when the paper comes out with an article about him forcing innocent families into the streets.
He tells her that he'll sue for libel. She asks how he can do that when it's the truth. And so, of course, I had to look up the wiki for defamation.
Yeah.
Defamation is when there is an oral or written communication of a false statement about someone else that unjustly harms their reputation and must be made to someone other than the defamed. There is a difference between spoken and written defamation, with spoken defamation being called slander and written defamation being called libel, but both require publication.
Mm-hmm.
So you either write it down and publish it in a paper or magazine or something, or you say it, but it's recorded on video and shown to the public.
Mm-hmm. And possibly people write about what you said.
Correct.
Which still renders it slander.
Yes. Now, in some...
renders it slander. Oh, man.
Yeah. In some countries, like South Korea and Sweden, communicating a true statement can also be considered defamation. It all depends on how you say it, apparently.
Mm-hmm. He tells her to get out of his way, shoves her over, and then walks off. And she follows, calling out that he can run, but he can't hide. It's like she walks around a corner and he goes like up a fucking staircase through a doorway. And she's like, you can't hide. My newspaper is going to do an expose. You can't get away with it.
He calls back that he already has, goes up the stairs, and suddenly she changes into a superhero. She is now dressed in tight red leather on top. It has black panels on the sides, and they have like scalloped edges
that like
on the bottom.
Come up over her hips.
Yeah,
and she's
like
got
curved
booty shorts. So like there's a bit on her hips where like most people have love handles, and there's like a little bit of skin.
Yeah,
just like a little scalloped arc of skin right there.
Yep. The tight red leather shorts also have black panels on the side and a lacing closure in the front. She has black knee-high boots that have a red line up the middle, a black mask over her eyes,
which is also like adding to her cheekbones somehow. It's not like a completely like one thickness mask. It's like there's depth to it. It's interesting.
Yes, it is definitely a padded mask.
Mm-hmm.
And she has red wrist cuffs, and the right wrist cuff has a circle of silver and black with a big P stamped on it. And even her hair has changed. It is now much more curly.
Yes, and like, also center parted.
Compact to her head.
Or rather, her bangs are pulled back, so now you can see it is center parted and it is much curlier.
Yes. We cut to Kevin, who has drawn Piper, Phoebe, and Paige as superheroes, and it's supposed to look like he just added like to the same drawing that he started earlier, but Phoebe's face is much smaller in this one, so you know it's a new picture.
Yeah.
We then cut to what is supposed to be the exterior of a comic book store, which we only know because of the neon sign that says Comet Comics on the right, and then the word comics written again in a comet coming off of that. But the store window has some weird shit that I have never seen in any comic book store that I have ever been in. It has some oversized bowling pins, a red top taxi light up sign, a replica of a gas pump, along with some other random stuff that was too hard to identify. There was like a weird D6 floating in the screen. It was weird.
I mean, a D6 feels appropriate for
That's the only thing that made sense. Yeah. But we never see the inside of the store because Piper and Paige walk outside, and we can see that Paige has changed into a pair of red pants and a light pink blazer over what looks to be an off-white shirt that has a sheer panel at the chest.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Piper says that they have a few more stores to check out. Paige is like, we're only finding lonely superheroes who have to hide their true identities, which doesn't bode well for my love life. Piper then asks if Paige is going to marry Dave, and Paige is like, no, I just met him. So Piper tells her to relax and only worry about it when she's got to worry about it.
And then suddenly, Piper and Paige turn into superheroes.
Now, I found it really funny, because in here, neither of them are carrying purses. Like, in this shot?
Correct.
It's really funny to me. Because, like, it stood out immediately. Like, I knew they were going to turn into superheroes. But also, where did Phoebe's purse go? Super fucking hilarious. Where they thought about it with one scene where like, oh, well, they shouldn't have purses because what are we going to do when they turn into superheroes? But the other one, they didn't fucking think about it. They just turned into a superhero and oops, where's your purse?
Yeah. I don't, no idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, Piper's outfit is long silver pants with black panels on the sides.
And they're kind of boot cut.
Mm-hmm. With a silver top that has a black panel, like, on the side of the boobs.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be a halter, style with a collar.
Yeah.
She's got a black mask, black heels, and silver wrist cuffs that are small. Kind of like Phoebe's were...
bracers.
More bracer style. Hers are much more like wrist cuff, smaller. And her P emblem is in the belt buckle position. Her hair has also gone slightly curly.
Yep.
Paige.
Her hair looks kind of like that episode that you love so much where she's going to the World War II memorial thing.
Yeah, though it's
slightly different, but it's kind of the same.
In the same vein.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just slightly curled.
Except center parted instead of side parted.
Yes. Paige is wearing a short black skirt with a pink belt and a pink top with a black panel down the front, black knee-high boots that have pink diagonal lines as details, a black mask, and black wrist cuffs that are almost to the elbow that have two pink, circle detail, line details around. Her P emblem is as a necklace.
With a pink ribbon holding it up.
Yep. And her hair is still straight.
Yeah.
She doesn't get the curl treatment.
I mean, hers looks cute enough like this.
Yeah.
Also, she's got, cap sleeves on this top. And I noticed at some point that Phoebe's are,
kind of triangular.
Capular? Whatever. Basically, the distance between Phoebe's armhole and her neck hole is much tinier than the distance between Paige's.
Yes.
Which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah. They then jump very quickly
onto the roof.
Onto the roof. Piper asks what happened. Paige was hoping Piper could tell her. And then we hear an elderly woman yell for help.
We cut to a man pulling a random middle-aged lady out of the car by her hair and throwing her onto the ground. And he's got a snub nose, revolver.
Yeah.
It's tiny. Anyway, Piper and Paige do the superhero walk through the fog thing. It's great.
Yes. Now, our elderly woman...
She's not that elderly. She is 60s, if that.
She is credited as elderly woman.
Ugh.
Okay. Our elderly woman is played by Jeannie Epper. She was born January 27th, 1941 in Simi Valley, California.
See? She's 60.
She only has 32 acting credits so far, starting back in 1951. However, she has 153 stunt credits between 1964 and 2015. So I just want you to do the math there. Her last stunt credit was in 2015, when she was 74 years old.
Get it, Jeannie, get it!
Yes. Fun fact. She was the stunt double for Linda Carter in the 1975 Wonder Woman TV show.
Apparently, her son told his classmates that his mom worked on the show, but they didn't believe him, so he showed them a picture of her in costume on the set. They still didn't believe him. Linda Carter heard about it, presumably from Jeannie, and decided to personally invite the boy's entire class to the set so they could see his mom in action.
Yeah.
Now,
I love that so much.
That's
That
great.
never would happen now.
No.
Yes, let's have an entire class of children.
Now they'd probably just, send a video or something.
Of her, of mom and the
the star would be like, hey, so, I heard that y'all didn't think Jeannie was working on this show. Hey, Jeannie!
Yeah, exactly.
Come over. Be like,
exactly.
Hi, guys. How's my kiddo doing? That kind of a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
The mugger gets 0 credit.
Yeah,
He gets snubbed.
There you go. That's cute. But, like, no credit, not even an uncredited credit. Like, there's nothing. I can tell you nothing about him.
Anyway, he's about to snub her in the face, meaning he shoves the gun at her. And that's when Piper yells at him. So he shoots at Piper, and she raises her hand to freeze, but instead catches the bullet in her palm. Like, her palm stops it.
Yes. She, of course, didn't expect that to happen, but she's not complaining. And then the man starts to run away, because wouldn't you?
Uh-huh.
I mean, you shoot at someone, and they just kind of catch the bullet in midair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would run away, too.
Yeah.
Piper runs in front of him very fast, and throws him into a dumpster.
Paige, ever helpful, goes up to the woman and asks if she's okay. She asks who they are and where they came from. So after Piper and Paige help her up, Paige is like, good question.
Yeah, that's a good question, lady.
Yeah, we get a quick transition shot that gives us a glimpse of the Triangle building before landing on the slumlord being held by his ankles off of a green screen. I mean, the edge of the roof.
Yes.
By Phoebe.
Yeah, he is panicking, telling her that no one has to move for a year, 10 years. And then Phoebe asks what he's going to do about the cockroaches.
Which, that sounded really funny, the way she was saying it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He says he'll head to the first thing in the morning, begs her not to drop him. So Cole appears, questioning Phoebe, calling her by name.
Yep.
And then she lets go of one of Miller's ankles and asks why Cole is there.
Cole says that one of the tenants called him about Wonder Woman terrorizing the landlord.
He looks over the edge. We see a smattering of people gathered on the sidewalk, like a small crowd, but a crowd, and then asks what she's doing. She's like, I'm teaching my buddy how to be a better person, and then asks Edward if he's a better person yet.
He says that he's slipping. She says, no, you're not slipping. And then, like, almost drops him and goes, that would be slipping.
Yeah.
I started laughing. Like, this is... I think because I didn't remember this episode at all, this episode made me laugh so much. Because it is so comic book. It's great. Oh, it's beautiful. Cole laughs, calling Phoebe honey, which she immediately says he's not allowed to call her anymore. And he says that he doesn't know what's going on, but this is not her. Literally.
She says it's better than her, it's the new and improved her, and now she can help the entire city, along with her readers.
Cole warns her to be careful with what she says due to Edward being able to hear her, but she replies that the only thing he can hear is the blood rushing to his brain.
Which directly contradicts the fact that she's been talking to him this entire time.
Yeah.
She pulls him up. He falls to the ground. Like, she pulls him up and, like, tosses him onto the roof.
Yeah.
He rolls over, like, he rolls around and then gets up. And she tells him that if he slips up again, they'll be back at the roof, and he runs away.
He, like, runs to the little ladder and then just slowly goes down it. Cole asks what's going to happen if someone sees her, and Phoebe replies that that's why we wear masks. And he's like, we? And she goes, yeah, superheroes.
She says she's got to help her loyal readers, and then goes zipping off across the building rooftops with, like, a whee!
Yeah, it was great. It was, like, hilarious. She just jumps to a rooftop, to another rooftop. It was great.
Yeah, we cut downstairs as Edward walks up to a security guard from earlier and orders him to find out everything he can about Cole Turner's wife, which he knew her name. What a fucking sexist, man. She doesn't even get credit when she's threatening him.
Right?
She gets to be called Cole Turner's wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, she introduced herself, so he knew her name.
Mm-hmm. And he heard her called Phoebe, so.
Yes. And then we get a shot of the Oakland Bay Bridge and a lovely little motion blur of Piper and Paige zipping past the Oakland Bay Bridge.
Or down the Oakland Bay Bridge?
Maybe. And then...
Like across it?
Yeah, they're zooming across. And then they appear in the manor via the wicker room doors. Paige says she's gotten a head rush and wants to go again, but Piper is worried that someone will see them.
Paige is like, but we're blurs. It doesn't matter. And then Phoebe zips in. And again, no one is closing this fucking door.
Yep.
She asks for a moment for her organs to catch up. Paige compliments Phoebe's outfit. Phoebe returns it. And Piper's like, yeah, where did we get them?
Phoebe says she doesn't know and doesn't care, but she's excited about how many readers she's helped.
And now she says that she takes off the mask and then immediately stops feeling quite so good about her actions. She's like, the masks are clouding our judgment, making us feel invincible. So Piper takes off hers, sees what she means. Paige takes hers, grimaces, says she doesn't like that, and starts to put it back on.
Phoebe tells Paige that they need to be thinking clearly enough to figure out who did this to them, and then the aggressor zips in and knocks Phoebe across the room.
Piper rushes over to her, and the aggressor tries to hit Paige, but she starts, doing a smug, dodgy thing, and she's not wearing the mask.
Yes.
It's kind of just hanging around her neck.
Yeah.
He ends up putting his fist through the wall. Sadly, no furniture is hurt.
Nope.
Sorry, gladly, no furniture is hurt.
Yeah.
And so he gives up and goes to head for Piper. And, of course, that table in the foyer is still not there.
Well, he puts his fist through the wall, and then Paige punches him in the face, and Piper kicks him, and he lands in the foyer where
he scrunches up that rug.
Yeah, where there is an absence of table, because he lands on the rug.
But the table is there for people to fall on. It's its thing.
Right? He then gets up and heads for Piper. Phoebe gets up, zips over, punches him several times in the stomach, and then throws him into the conservatory where we hear a table break.
Again.
Which brings our FAQ up to 6 for the season and 74 for the series. We then see the aggressor lying on the floor with a piece of wood stuck through his chest as the girls run in.
He thanks them and then turns into Kevin. Paige looks confused and a little grossed out, and we go to commercial break.
We come back to Leo taking the table leg out of Kevin's chest as the girls surround him.
And this entire, bit right here is super leisurely in a way I don't appreciate.
Yeah.
Because it was in his chest. The left side of his chest.
Yeah.
Barely left of midline. This is a problem.
Well, Leo is worried about healing Kevin in case he tries to kill them again, but Piper says that he's just a kid, and Phoebe mentions that he thanked them. So Leo's like, wait, he thanked you? Okay, and then he heals Kevin.
Kevin wakes up, asks what happened, and Piper's like, before or after your alter ego tried to kill us? Leo helps him up, and then they learn his name is Kevin. And now we need to talk about Kevin. Piper asks if he's the one responsible for their outfits. He nods, and he's like, I was hoping you'd be able to stop the aggressor, which now they're finally learning what this dude's name is.
Yes. Paige is like, the aggressor? Don't you mean you? And Phoebe's like, you realize that we almost killed you, right? Leo asked if that's what he wanted, and Kevin said he didn't know what else to do.
Because he's a kid, and he's a dumb shit.
Yeah. He didn't want to hurt anyone else, and after their first battle, he thought drawing them with more powers would help.
Piper asks what he means by drawing them, and he says, I can always imagine things and bring them to life through drawings. He calls them the Protectors, and says he's never told anyone about what he could do, because he knew it would freak them out, as it freaked him out. Leo says that thought projection is a very rare power, and it means he's also a witch.
Phoebe asks why he made himself a superhero. Kevin says he got tired of getting beaten up, and then Arnon came along and taught him how to focus his power. Paige then asks who Arnon is, and Kevin says he's someone he wished he never met. He tells them that Arnon used him to get to Ramus by saying that Ramus was a bad guy who needed to be stopped, but all Arnon wanted were Ramus's powers.
The elders call Leo, and Leo says that they apparently want him to bring Ramus back down. Piper's like, we can't until we figure out how to stop Arnon, and Leo's like, we don't have a choice. The equinox is starting.
High blue.
And the blue is starting awake, that is.
Piper says that Arnon's going to kill Ramus. Paige is like, well, he can't do it without the aggressor. And Piper's like, we don't know that for sure. We can't know that for sure. Kevin tells them that Arnon doesn't know that the aggressor has failed just yet, so he can follow him back to his hideout.
Bad plan, kiddo.
Such a bad plan.
Paige says it's too dangerous, and Kevin's like, I won't be in danger with you. You've got superpowers and super hearing. You'll be able to overpower him.
And then he reminds them that he drew them, and Paige is like, fine, but you have to do exactly what we say. And he promises that he will.
Uh-huh.
And then we get some shots that rush through the city with nothing but neon lights.
Yeah.
Like every building that has a neon light in the city is being shown in this pass-through.
Mm-hmm. And then we follow a plane passing loudly overhead, and we pan down to the girls and Kevin hiding behind some crates outside Arnon's hideout.
Paige asks if they found the place. Kevin points and says it's through that door. And Piper asks if Paige hears anything inside, because apparently Paige is the only one with super hearing. Paige says that it could be her old apartment with the sounds of rats, dripping water, and cockroaches, but she doesn't hear Arnon.
Quick night shot of the manor, and then Leo orbs in to the Wicker room with Ramus, who immediately comments about him not breaking anything this time. Leo's like, we'll be safer upstairs. Ramus is like, we're fine where we are. And Leo worries about the doors being a way someone can get into attack.
As we are shown the door to the outside being open behind Ramus' head.
Fucking door.
Ramus reminds him that anyone who attacks won't need doors and tells him to relax.
So Ramus sits down in one of the wicker chairs and tells him that neither of them can change what's meant to be. Leo asks what he's not being told, and Ramus kind of grins and goes, oh yeah, actually kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And then reminds Leo that everything happens for a reason. Leo wants to know how he's supposed to protect Ramus if he doesn't know what the hell's going on, and then apologizes for raising his voice and presumably swearing.
Well, he didn't say hell, so...
No, he did.
Did he?
He did.
I don't remember. Whatever. He apologizes for raising his voice, and Ramus tells him that he shouldn't be sorry, that he should be a little tougher sometimes, and being an angel doesn't mean he can't kick some ass now and then. And Ramus does say kick some ass.
Yeah.
Leo then sits down. Ramus reminds him that his fate is sealed, he's right where he's supposed to be, and nothing they do can change it.
He does offer to give Leo a glimpse of the future, because apparently being an elder means he can foresee some of it. Leo asks if that's not against the rules, and Ramus replies, I'm retiring. What do I care?
Which, again, perfect delivery.
Yeah, I've given my 2 weeks. We're good.
It was great. He tells Leo that he can ask a single question.
Leo thinks for a moment, and then asks if the baby will be healthy.
Ramus tells him that the baby will be very healthy and more powerful than he can even imagine.
Oh boy.
She's not like other girls.
Ugh.
I'm sorry I had to.
That was good. We cut to outside Arnon's hideout, where Kevin and the girls are still listening for Arnon. Phoebe tells Kevin to go in and summon him, but to call once he gets there, and they'll get him out in a flash.
Yeah.
And Paige is like, I'll be able to hear the slightest peep.
So you know this isn't going to end well.
Right. So you know he's not going to say anything.
Well.
Piper reminds Kevin he doesn't have to do this. He's like, I want to. And he heads toward the door.
And then an airplane flies above, and Paige covers her ears. Phoebe asks if she's okay, but she doesn't respond because she can't fucking hear anything except the goddamn plane.
Uh-huh.
Kevin walks inside the building, and Edward Miller, the slumlord, is watching with a video camera nearby from inside his car.
Like, when we say nearby, we mean 20 fucking feet away. We mean we see him in the intersection of that alley and another alley with a very big blinking red light on his camera.
In a very large,
Sedan.
expensive car.
Yes.
Shiny as all hell.
Being not at all covert in the least.
And yet, no one notices him.
No, because everyone's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Inside the building, Kevin calls out for Arnon.
And then Arnon comes up and does like a half Vulcan pinch on his shoulder. And says that Kevin betrayed him. And he drops the sketchbook open on a table. And we see the drawing of the superhero charmed ones.
Which is a slightly different drawing than we saw last time.
Yep. Arnon says that since Kevin can draw powers for other people, he can draw Arnon with powers.
Back outside, Paige is still being deafened by the planes, and Piper says that they need to get Kevin out of there, so they all zip inside the building, and Edward catches it all on the video camera.
Inside, Kevin is unconscious on the floor, and Piper goes over to him, trying to wake him. Paige picks up a drawing of another superhero, which is a nice action shot of, like, extra aggressive aggressor punching up through frame.
Yep.
She asks what it is. Phoebe says it's another aggressor. And then the new aggressor zips in, and his mask now
Covers more of his face.
covers
Like his neck.
everything but his forehead, his mouth, and his hair.
Yeah. And his eyes are now glowing red.
Oh boy.
Because now he's a bad guy.
Oh. He rips the drawing of the superhero girls in half, and the girls all return to their normal clothes, which means that Kevin didn't finish that original drawing of Super Phoebe. Piper lets out an uh-oh, And the aggressor throws all three of them through a wooden slatted wall that has, I think it used to be a window and then all the glass was removed. Because there's still like the, not the glazing, but the frame edges are still there. And you can see them as they like fly through it.
Yeah.
And then we go to commercial break.
We come back to the girls on the ground groaning in pain.
Phoebe says something about Piper not complaining because she didn't want to get pampered, and the girls get up.
And Piper's like, I take it back, which was great.
Yeah.
Paige says that Piper is lucky to have a baby that can heal her, but Piper's like, yeah, baby doesn't seem to heal aches and pains.
Kevin walks out apologizing, and Paige says it's not his fault. And her suit looks like it's a different size from before. It looks baggier for some reason.
I don't know. I didn't notice that.
It was just weird.
Kevin says that Arnon threatened to kill him if he didn't draw him. Phoebe says that the only thing that matters is that Kevin is okay. And Kevin says he's only okay until Arnon wants him to draw him with more powers.
And then Paige brings down the room by saying he won't need more powers if he gets to Ramus before they do.
Phoebe wonders how they're supposed to stop him now that they're not superheroes anymore. Kevin offers to draw them again, but Piper says it'll take too long.
Which makes me wonder how long they were waiting outside that fucking warehouse.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Paige asks how they stop Arnon. Piper says they do it as super witches. And then Kevin reminds them that they couldn't stop the original aggressor as witches.
So how are you going to stop Arnon?
Yeah. Piper says, oh, we'll just rip up the drawing and turn him back into the wimpy demon he is.
Kevin, of course, tells them that Arnon took the drawing with him, because of course he did.
Yeah. Dude's dumb as shit, but he is smart.
Mm-hmm.
High wisdom, low intelligence.
Dumb as a bag of rocks, but they're shiny rocks. Back at the manor, Leo is pacing, and we have a small continuity error as the shelving and the table that the girls broke earlier in the episode are back in perfect condition.
But so is the coffee table. Did Leo just fucking heal it?
But he's not supposed to be able to heal that shit. So
he healed the P3 sign.
Yeah, there's...
What he can and cannot heal is
depends
somewhat
on the
nebulous.
Day.
Yes.
Yeah. Ramus tells Leo he needs to relax because Leo's making him nervous.
Leo says he can sense that something isn't right, and Ramus reminds him he's got to let his charges do their job.
Leo's like, they should have been home by now. And Ramus is like, they'll be home soon, but it's going to be too late. And Leo's like, we have to get you out of here.
Ramus then puts his hand up and looks at Leo and replies, kind of regretfully, this is gonna hurt.
And then the aggressor...
This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt.
Thank you. The aggressor then slams open the front door, again, not breaking it.
So he's the one demon who can manage to not fucking break the door. But, at least they leave it unlocked still.
Yeah. He zips up to Leo, punches him, and sends him flying across the dining room table.
And my favorite bit, when you see him land, there's a little crystal lake, that not a glass, but like a dish.
Yeah, there was a crystal dish on the table.
His butt lands on it.
Oh, yeah. He lands, like, right on the stuff in the middle of the table. The table is perfectly intact because that dining room table is rock solid.
Uh-huh. But he hits that glass butt first.
He hits
it. It shatters!
And it goes sliding off the table with him.
Because he's on the runner.
Yeah. And so he ends up on the floor behind the dining room table with the glass pieces all around him.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Yeah, just like, you gotta prep before you do that.
Yeah. The aggressor tells Ramus that getting his powers is going to be easier than he thought.
Ramus, T-poses and tells him to enjoy it while it lasts.
He does kind of T-pose, doesn't he?
And the aggressor, does this, scoop hand motion into Ramus's stomach. And all of the little orby white lights flow out of Ramus and into the aggressor. And then Ramus just kind of vanishes. Goes misty and then gone.
Yeah. The girls and Kevin Orban... The aggressor says they're too late, that Ramus is dead, and Piper goes over to Leo.
Phoebe prompts Paige. Paige calls out for a boot, and the aggressor's right boot orbs into Paige's hand. The aggressor falls onto the floor, just sitting on his ass.
Yeah. Kevin's like, I meant the left one, and Paige is like, ah! And
left boot!
Calls her left boot. The other boot orbs into her hand. And this is where we can see that, he is technically wearing, a full... tights kind of situation, but they're not
leggings.
Tights. Yeah, they're much more like leggings. Anyway,
the other boot orbs into her hand. She grabs the drawing out of the very top of it.
Yeah. Tears it in half, And the aggressor turns back into Arnon.
Just as he, like, is starting to stand up.
Yeah.
And then Phoebe says something pithy. Paige is like, you know, having Ramus's powers means you should be able to foresee what happens next. She's real cutesy about it.
And then Piper walks over to Arnon and goes, "It's gonna hurt, isn't it?" And then after a pause, Arnon screams.
And Piper blows him up, effectively turning Arnon off.
Yes.
There's some black particles along with the little white light inside of Ramus's powers, and it, like, goes up. Paige is like, "What that?" And then it goes down into Kevin's chest.
Kevin asks what just happens. Phoebe says that Ramus was able to pass his powers on to the new elder after all.
Paige is like, he's
only 13. And Leo
He's
explains,
too young.
And Leo explains that elders are like kings and they can be any age. Kevin is confused by what this all means. Piper says that no one's going to be pushing him around anymore, and Kevin gives a small smile. Now, does this mean that Kevin is now dead? Or do elders have different rules than whitelighters? Because whitelighters need to die to become whitelighters, but apparently elders don't?
Yeah. Or is he like that one dude in the Bible who just ascended to heaven and didn't technically die, so he's the oldest person alive?
Yeah. And we never hear about Kevin again,
Was
I'm
that
sure.
Enoch? No, that wasn't Enoch.
I don't know.
Who the fuck was that? Isaac? I don't know. It was one of Abraham's sons, I feel like.
No idea. I'm not up on my Bible.
I just remember hearing about it as like a trivia piece. Because like someone's like, you know, technically, this one dude never fucking died.
Nah. Blue is snoring so loud, it's hilarious.
He's occluding his airway is what he is doing.
Yep.
He is obluding his airway.
Yes. But I'm assuming that we never hear about Kevin again.
Mm-hmm.
Because we never hear about anyone again.
No, especially not the kids.
It is so rare. Well, it's not true. We do hear about some people again. Like, we hear about Glenn again.
Glenn.
The Paige's ex.
No. I mean the kids. We never hear about the kids.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Glenn is not a child. That would make that statutory.
No, but I'm saying, like, we hear about some people again. You know, we get references to some people.
We get references to random love
would
interests.
Matter.
Yeah.
Random love interest and random demons.
Yeah. People we saw in more than one episode.
But not the people who actually have a fucking clue.
Right? Anyway, we jump over to Cole, who is locking the door to his office. He's wearing just, like, a leather jacket.
Yeah.
And, like a dark gray shirt.
Yeah, like normal street clothes.
Yeah, like, super chill lawyer.
Yeah.
But, like, lawyer by day, motorcyclist by night is what this look is telling me.
A little bit, yeah.
He locks the door of his office, begins to walk down the hallway toward the elevators, and then
Edward Miller, the slumlord.
Edward Miller, you know, the slumlord, comes around the corner holding a VHS tape.
He makes sure that he's talking to Cole Turner. Cole wants nothing to do with him. The slumlord mentions that even upside down, he can tell when married people are talking to each other.
Because apparently, that's how he figured out who was holding him upside down. Not, I'd met her 5 seconds before. Not, I heard her called Phoebe and recognized her as the person I met 5 seconds before.
Uh-huh. The person
not her talking about helping her readers.
Not, I don't know, recognizing the voice of the woman who was just screaming at me downstairs. Anyway.
Hey, do you see my head?
I do.
It's in my hands.
Yep.
He's an asshole and an idiot.
Yep. Cole walks into the elevator saying that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Miller says that the videotape he's holding might jog Cole's memory and asks to speak somewhere more private.
He's an idiot if he wants to get Cole alone.
Yeah.
Outside P3.
Outside P3.
There are a ton of people waiting to get in. No now appearing sign.
Yeah.
The DJ from the beginning of the episode is playing. People are dancing. It's great.
Yes. Paige and Dave walk through the crowd and approach Piper and Leo, who are sitting on a couch, kissing.
And they make the joke about, get a room.
Yeah.
Which, considering how tamely Piper and Leo are kissing, I'm just like...
Yes, but
it's like your parents.
It was a cute callback.
It's like your parents. It's funny. Paige is now in a green, like a... Not acid. Like a Granny apple. Granny Smith apple green.
Yes, it's quite a bright green.
Cami top with pink spaghetti straps. And like there's some pink edging happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's some black bra straps visible, and she's got a black skirt. Her hair is mostly down with like light green clips.
There's a light green clip that looks like a pair of lips.
Yeah.
On one side of her head.
Uh-huh.
Dave is in an open button-down shirt over a white t-shirt and jeans, and with his hair, because he's got this like long
Kurt Cobain.
blonde hair.
He looks like Kurt Cobain.
He looks like Kurt Cobain if Kurt Cobain was a surfer.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like Kurt Cobain and neighbor Dan had a baby.
Yeah, a little bit. Piper is in a little black dress that's got some sheer panels. Her hair is pulled up into a bun, and she's got this like black necklace on. It's a really cute little outfit.
Mm.
And Leo is in a gray button down and black pants. He's been in dark clothes this episode. It's weird.
Leo asks Dave how it's going. Dave shakes his hand, says, "Never better."
And Piper seems to understand that answer more than Leo does, and asks if the boys can go get them some drinks. Dave asks if they want sparkling or still, meaning water, and Paige asks for sparkling, of course.
So Leo stands up, and Dave congratulates Piper on the club and tells her the DJ is wicked, like he doesn't fucking recognize her
Right?
from earlier in the episode.
Yeah, like from, just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I also thought it was very funny that he called the DJ wicked, because I was like, that's a Boston thing. Like, is that a British thing? I don't know if that's a British thing. It's definitely a Boston thing.
Might be. It's whoever wrote it thing.
Yes.
She thanks him, Leo and Dave walk off, and Paige sits down beside Piper, and she says it's nice to know she's still got it in her. And Piper's beginning to realize that being number one isn't in town, meaning the club, isn't important anymore. Neither is fighting demons.
Paige asks if she didn't like being a superhero. Piper says it was awesome, and being a witch is still awesome, but there's a new number one in town.
And she kind of puts her hand on her stomach. Paige says that's good. Piper congratulates Paige on working through her issues with Dave. And Paige is very happy about that, joking that she was about to join a convent, which is a hilarious overreaction to not being able to orgasm.
Yeah.
It's like you don't join a convent, you, join a BDSM club.
Yeah, I have many thoughts on that, and I'm not going to express any of them.
Get a vibrator. Come on, you can work through it.
Piper says that the pink leather must have broken her down, and Paige thinks that it might have been the ability to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Yeah, she can get over buildings. Surely she can get over a cock.
Piper says that it's helped her let her guard down, and Paige says that she's going to take Piper's advice to relax.
She says that if Dave is Mr. Right, he'll eventually be told that she flies around on broomsticks, and not just his broomstick.
Just then, Phoebe walks up to them. She is wearing a low-cut, cropped, white crochet halter top.
Which is
a sentence. Which is a sentence.
The way you've written this reminds me of the cable knit tube top sweater pocket hoodie.
Yeah.
But this one makes more sense.
Yes. It has an open weave detail on the bottom trim that's kind of got a diamond pattern happening. And it is held on by a single string.
Yep.
Zero
support.
String. Yeah. She has paired this with a long skirt.
She might have support from her sisters, but she does not have support from her straps.
Yes. She has paired this with a long skirt that looks a bit tie-dye-esque in shades of purple and green. Her hair is down and a little messy, and she's wearing a flower on a string as a necklace.
It's cute. Phoebe says that Dave might find out by himself about the broomsticks. Paige questions her, and Phoebe tells them that Cole called, and the idiot slumlord wants to meet them both.
Piper asks why. Phoebe says it's got something to do with a tape of Cole's superhero ex-wife in action, and Piper deadpans, "Oh no."
Oh no.
Which, again, it's like the perfect delivery. This episode is filled with
because also the way she does it is a little Minnesota.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no.
In Cole's apartment,
Cole and Edward are watching the videotape. Literally, all it is that scene we saw from earlier. Kevin walks in the building. Girls zip into it moments later. No explanation of how fast they were going.
Right, but here's the thing. It also is not accurate to the time frame in which things should have happened.
Correct.
Because Kevin walks in and like within 3 seconds the girl's zipping.
Maybe he did some editing?
Maybe. But
if he could have done editing, he would have slowed down the zipping and gotten better photos of their faces, because it's very dark.
And again, here's the thing. They go zipping in. What is this showing? That you can speed up on a VHS.
Like, this is... Okay, so... My other problem with this whole, like, oh, I've got video of you doing, like, weird shit, gonna expose you, whatever. They dealt with this in season 1.
Uh-huh.
Then they were on the fucking money about, like, oh shit, this is what's going on. We figured out we're trying to be exposed. And they tried so hard and then failed, which was great. Well, I mean, it wasn't great for them, but, like, plot-wise, it worked out. It was coherent.
Like,
we
remember the Bruce Campbell moment.
No, not that.
But I'm saying, like, you know, playing the music to try and not be caught on tape and whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, they were doing things to not get their shit caught on tape.
I'm saying that the season 1 is a better analog to this because they weren't warned about that guy.
True.
They just happened to realize it was a setup, spot him, and go, oh, fuck.
True, but they still fucked it up with the purse.
He was better hidden than Idiot Slumlord.
Yes.
Idiot Slumlord was 20 fucking feet away. And also, didn't get video of them, like, crashing through a window or doing anything incriminating?
Yeah, he just caught them moving quickly. Which, again...
Could have
easily been.
I mean, it was definitely the way it was filmed. It was definitely a post-production thing where they just sped it up.
Yeah,
because that's easier.
Yeah.
But, like, what's incriminating about that? What's the problem? Why could they not see this dude and be like? Also, how far was it from where they were hiding to the door?
Yeah, there are many questions. Many questions.
What the fuck, Dave?
Except this is Edward, but yes.
I know.
Anyway.
But he's a total Dave. Also, his name is David.
This is true.
Yeah.
Anyway. Cole asks what he wants.
Edward's like, I want Cole's wife. I want your wife off my back and $50,000 a month.
Cole questions him, and Edward says that all they need to do to get the money if they don't have it is put back on those cute little outfits.
And Cole's like, oh, they don't have them anymore. Edward says they should find them. And Cole takes a step closer to him. And this is where Edward starts to get nervous. And I'm just like, now you're nervous?
Yep.
You took a guy you don't know, who you know doesn't like you, to his own apartment.
Yeah.
You went into the fucking lion's den because you're like, it's a kitty, it won't harm me. Bitch, kitty got claws.
Yep. Edward says not to try anything, as the tape is just a copy. Cole says he can find the original. Edward asks how, and Cole says that he has certain powers of his own, but he is trying very, very hard not to use them, as he doesn't like what they do to him.
Edward's like, okay, crazy. Turns around, it says he'll sell the tape to the highest bidder, and starts walking toward the elevator.
First of all, if you think the man is crazy, don't let him out of your sight.
Don't turn your back
to him. That's just calling for stupidity.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Slumlord.
Cole's
emphasis on idiot.
Yes. Cole says, I can't let you do that. Edward's like, try and stop me. Cole immediately, without even thinking about it, lifts his hand and sends Edward up into flames. And we hear a scream of no, but I'm not sure if that no was supposed to be Edward or Cole.
It was Edward. It had reverb.
Okay, because I wasn't positive.
It was definitely Edward.
Okay. Why
would it be Cole?
Because Cole didn't want to use his powers, which is the only thing I was thinking of in that moment.
It would have... Okay, so if the no scream had happened before the dude went up in flames, it would have been Cole.
All right.
Because that's supposed to signal, oh shit, I'm doing this kind of against my will, but also it's involuntary and like blah, 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 blah. But it happened after Edward started going up in flames, which means it's reaction to the flames...
The only reason that I questioned it being Edward is because we see Edward, like, literally in front of the elevator doors and not moving. like, at all. He is completely still. And you'd think if he was screaming in pain, he would be moving in some fashion.
Well, he's being immolated too fast. He's still in shock. And then he's gone.
Apparently so.
Except for his little smoky footprints.
Yeah, little burnt footprints right in front of the elevator as it opens and Phoebe walks in. And she has added a waist-length, open-weave crochet sweater to her outfit.
Did Jonah Hands make this or something? I mean, no, he wasn't alive then. But, yeah.
Anyway.
It's wild. Phoebe asks if he's there. Cole, seemingly, like, lost in the sauce, just asks, who? And Phoebe's like, you said Edward Miller was coming to talk to us?
Cole then glances at the burnt footprints on the floor and is like, oh, yeah, no, I took care of that.
And
Phoebe immediately...
She reads between the fucking lines.
Immediately
she doesn't know
up.
what happened to Miller, but she knows some shit happened.
Yeah.
And so backs up, is like, what do you mean? But doesn't really need the answer. Summons the elevator, and gets back on it.
And I love the fact that because of the kind of elevator it is, the second she pushes the button, the elevator's there. Because it didn't go anywhere.
Well, yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, she gets in the elevator as Cole says that he was going to expose her. What was I supposed to do? And he's trying to get her to wait, but the elevator doors close and we go to the end credits.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, Cole. You're a moron.
So moronic. Like, honestly, I could see, some light torture of Slumlord. And then Phoebe walks in. Yeah, that's unforgivable, but dude's not dead. You can make him forget shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, immolating him, not exactly something you can come back from.
No, and also the fact that she literally walks through, like, his cloud.
Yeah.
And doesn't smell that shit. Like, girl, he ain't making barbecue.
Yeah. There is that.
Uh-huh.
So
anyway, it's on to ratings. You go first.
It is indeed on to ratings. I'm giving this one 7.5 out of 10 self-healing shelving units.
I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10 baffling bed decisions.
With our ratings done, we are on to outfits. Now, I know I'm probably supposed to say that I like the superhero outfits best, but I can't.
Nope.
I just can't. Piper, the second outfit, the red shirt with the pants, with the olive green pants, best outfit. Hands down, best outfit. For Phoebe, I actually kind of liked the final outfit with the sweater over top.
It was cute.
Adding the sweater over top made it a better outfit to me.
I liked the skirt from her first outfit. I think my favorite outfit of the entire day, or episode, was Paige's first outfit.
The blue and white dress. That's my second favorite for her. I actually really like her in the red pants, pink blazer combo. Because it was very, like, classy.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was still...
Which is weirdly not Paige.
Right, but it was more Paige because it was red pants and a pink blazer. Mm-hmm. Like, if it had been all black, that would be much more like a Piper outfit.
Yeah.
But because it was these bright, bold colors and this pastel color and, like... It was more cutesy, but it was still really tailored and classy.
You know what I think? I think those outfits were probably designed to cover up whatever they had to wear under the superhero outfit so they could just, like, stand there and have people change them.
I don't think so.
That would have been fun, though.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Only because...
Oh, well, they did have to have their hair done.
They had to have their hair done, the makeup done, all that stuff. So, yeah, no. But
it would have been fun, conceivably, if this were, like, the outfit on top of the superhero outfit. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
That would have been funny. I mean, granted, Paige switched from pants to a skirt.
Yeah.
But still, it would be very Superman if this is, like, what they go into the phone booth with.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say, my favorite thing in all of this is the outfits that they were in as superheroes is very much them, and I'm going, how did Kevin know? Because Piper in pants, Phoebe in booty shorts, and Paige in a miniskirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pink.
And pink. But, like, and Piper in the silver, and then Paige and
And
Phoebe
you know
in
what
the
else that I noticed? Their lipsticks coordinated with their outfits a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, granted, Piper's was a lip gloss, but it was shiny, kind of sparkly. So, like, that fit with the silver.
Yeah.
Paige's was pink, and Phoebe's was very red. Almost the exact same red as her outfit.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
But I just thought it was very, very interesting that literally, like, their outfits very much match their personalities. And I'm like, how does Kevin know this? Because if you looked at, when the aggressor shows up the first time, you look at what Piper is wearing and you go, yeah, okay, I can see him putting her in pants, something, sensible with, the superhero
Wait,
heels.
wasn't Paige wearing negligee when he first showed up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. And then Phoebe's wearing
the skirt.
Okay, well, she's wearing the skirt thingy, so yeah, maybe that's a little further fetched.
Yeah. So it's very interesting about, like, how did Kevin know to draw them in what he drew them in?
See, again, if the writers had enough... Wait. Oh, no, I think I said this about the reboot. But, like, if generally in shows the writers had enough time to actually close all of the loose ends, weave them back into the fabric so you don't see the fucking fringe, then they would, be way overpaid and they would blow the budget by second episode.
Yes. But sometimes I wish it would happen anyway.
Right?
Anyway, we are on
to social media
stuff.
As per usual, you can email us any questions, comments, quements, or queries to charmchats@gmail.com. And you can find all of the links to whatever was mentioned in today's episode at charmedchats.com.
Which is where you can find all of the links to our Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, Redbubble, and Patreon pages. And I would suggest, if you've bought any of our merch in the past, to go check out the Redbubble, because at some point there will be more merch. We're still figuring some stuff out. But some of the stuff that's already up there now has new stuff. It now has...
Meaning new options.
Yeah, new options. So, like, you could get a mug before, but now you can get a water bottle.
Woo!
And, like, socks. Stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. There are some things that, I'm still working on, but there's some new options for you if you want to rep our merch in some other fashion than you already are. And we absolutely thank you for repping our merch in however you already are. There's a new tote as well, and I'm really excited about it. Hey. I want it so bad. Anyway, if you want to join us on our Discord, where you will sometimes get sneak peeks of some of the stuff that we talk about in the episodes before we even record the episodes, all you have to do is email us the phrase, "We're the power of 2 plus blue," and we will send you an invite link. We thank you for listening and supporting us, supporting the show. You're all amazing.
Yay!
So until next time,
sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks bite.
Bye.
Bye.
Piper, Phoebe, and Paige, kicking evil sauce weekly.